I had that dream again, Dragon, and it's really starting to bother me.
Dreams are meant to be forgotten, Rudy.
But this seems so real. I'm out there hiking with my beautiful wife, Madison, my son, Charlie, and Lisa, and these men, they came out of the trees. They were wearing masks. They took my wife.
Do you hear that, Rudy?
Yeah, it's that stupid Jack in the Box that plays whenever I tell you my dream.
Let's go look at the Jack in the Box.
This is a Jack in the Box. I wonder what is in the box. Can you guess what is in the box? It's a unicorn.
I really want to finish telling you my dream. It seems so real.
This is a dragon with puppets on its tentacles. There are 5 tentacles. Would you be willing to fight the dragon?
I'm gonna remember this time. I'm gonna remember for Madison.
London Bridge
Madison.
is falling up,
I just can't stay
Falling
awake,
up.
Madison.
falling up.
I love you, Madison.
London Bridge is falling up, my sweet baby. Robbie sees a butterfly, butterfly, butterfly. Baby sees a butterfly, blue in the mornings.
Sorry, Dragonite. I forgot what I was talking about. What was I saying?
You were saying you'd do anything for your country.
Well, maybe. I would never kill an American citizen. Never.
This is a Jack in the Box. I wonder what is in the box. Can you guess what is in the box? This man lives in New York City. His name is William Franklin Peake. He is not a real man. He is a balloon that looks like a man.
Go to the Peacock Bar in Wembley. The bartender will give you a silver key. It will open locker number 33, and there you will find a box. Popping balloons is so much fun. They make a silly noise almost like a gun.
I remember who I am. I'm not a puppet. I'm not a puppet. I'm a human being. They took my wife. They took my wife. They're making me kill. Ah! Help! Help! I don't want to kill! Ah! Where? Who are you? Where am I? Why is your hand up my ass?
Well, Rudy, I started with my finger. I just sort of kept on pushing. And then now my whole hand's up there, and I control everything you say and think and do.
What? That can't be possible. You control my thoughts, my feelings, everything. This can't be real.
It is real, Rudy. And if you want to see Madison again, you'll do your fucking job.
No!
Friends, welcome. Today's guest is a brilliantly funny comedian and has won an Emmy for his work inside Amy Schumer. He is so funny, and I've had so many great conversations with him in the green room of the mothership, mind-bending conversations. There's not many people out there who can drag me into the dark conspiratorial realms and introduce me to conspiracy theories that I was not aware of. But Kurt Metzger is definitely one of those people. So strap in and get ready to have your wig blown back by the brilliance of Kurt Metzger. Kurt, well,
we'll shake hands again.
welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, man, I was up in Canada, and you already kind of mentioned this before we started, but I had no idea about this. Can you pull this up, Josh?
Yeah.
This is the spookiest shit ever. I'd heard, things about Canada getting weird, but a Canadian was explaining this to me. Bill C-18,
Yeah.
many Canadians access news content through digital intermediaries like Instagram, Facebook. Bill C-18 would enact the Online News Act, which proposes a regime to regulate digital platforms that act as intermediaries in Canada's news media ecosystem in order to enhance fairness in the Canadian digital news market.
I like the ecosystem, so it's like an environmental thing they're doing.
It's fairness.
Well, that was the Fairness Act they tried to pass. They may have back in when Rush Limbaugh was big and the Clintons were in office, and they were trying to pass a thing like this. But this has like way worse shit in it, as far as I know. I mean,
Can
I'm
you
not an expert.
explain this to me, like what you do understand about it? Because the way, okay, here's how it was explained to me. If you're Canadian and you post news on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, you get strikes, and eventually your account will be banned, even if it's just linking to the news.
Yeah, it's China shit.
What the fuck?
You already live in China, so, and they especially live in China. But okay, not just that. He's got stuff in there to go back. I'm pretty sure it's in this one, C-18. Like I said, I'm not going to really study Canadian law because that's outrageous. I'll know America has fallen when I got to learn the ins and outs of Canadian law to talk about it. That's for goddamn sure. But they're talking about going back in your record of tweets like for 20 years. Oh, you can get like 20 years in prison.
Okay, so that's crazy.
That's his proposal. So because of all the dis, and malinformation.
Okay, now
misdismal information.
What you just said is so scary. And when years and years ago, I did a podcast at this place called Singularity University. It's all these like tech billionaires studying where the world is going because of technology. They had all these grease boards up about potential dangers. Now, this was years ago, long before this.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at the dangers. One of them was, what happens if laws change and in the past you've broken those laws online? And that's exactly
that stupid basilisk, the
Rocco's basilisk or whatever. Yeah.
I like to call it Rocco's basilisk.
Help me understand Rocco's basilisk.
It's some shit like that. The AI comes online and you didn't help it, so now you're bad retroactively.
Retroactively bad.
It sounds stupid as hell, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, though, it's like this. You know, you see these old footprints in the mud, like a 10,000-year-old footprint, a human walking.
It's a very old story, by the way, the thing they're talking about, the singularity. The singularity is not a new thing. In fact, you could find old religious parallel, and you hear them mixing that shit all the time, like the Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
All them tech motherfuckers would talk about the Kali Yuga. Chelsea Peretti's fuckbag brother that came up with BuzzFeed, Jonah, he wrote a whole paper on it's accelerationism is the secular term.
Josh, can you pull up definition of Kali Yuga so folks can see what this is?
But it's the same as Kabbalah. It's all the same thing. In the old, and I don't know when the hell, Kabbalah pops up like 1100.
I have no idea how to spell that.
K-A-L.
Kali.
Kali, K.
And then space. Yuga.
Y-U-G-A.
Y-U-G-A.
There
you go.
Most people throw this term around a lot. So let's pull it up. Oh, shit. Kali Yuga in Hinduism is the fourth shortest and worst of the four world ages, and a Yuga cycle preceded by the Dvapara Yuga and followed by the next cycle, Krita Yuga. It is believed to be the present age, which is full of conflict and sin.
Okay, so very important. Whenever Kabbalah first just pops up in history, in like 1100 in Europe, that it's probably what they got from the Holy Land, that Kabbalah shit.
Yes,
which is a method of brain repatterning. Really, is what it is. The map, the life tree.
Yeah,
that's to map out mind palace kind of shit when you mind control someone.
Josh, will you pull up the Kabbalistic tree of life?
Yeah, but you could take any symbol. They're all the same fucking symbol. But the main thing is, so the teaching was when the Sabatai Svi starts, this is like 1666, or maybe it's 1400. Oh, it's 1492 or something. It's around when Columbus. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. So that's to map out stuff in your head.
Yeah, maybe any of those. Just enlarge it for a second so people can see it. Actually, let's do. There's one that has Hebrew, English. Let's scroll down a little bit. Maybe that one right there. Yeah. The one on medium. Yeah, there we go. That's good.
Yeah, the Sephirot and the Klipot is like the negative one, and whatever. I'm gonna get off topic with it, but the main thing was Sabbatai Sevi, and he was championed by Nathan of Gaza, who is like a very young, like boy genius Einstein of Kabbalah. Okay. So, and he's like 19 or whatever, 20, and so Sabbatai Sevi is this guy from a Jewish family in, I want to say, Spain.
Yeah.
At this time, a bunch of Jews had fled to Turkey because the Sultan was like, "I'll take all your Jews if you don't want them. I like having Jews here."
All right.
So a bunch of them, and then some stayed and converted. They're called conversos, which is what Columbus is, a converso.
All right.
I'll bet you Mayorkas, the DHS guy, because he's from, like, his family's Cuban. That's probably a converso family.
Okay.
A lot of them in the Caribbean.
Okay.
And it was like kind of like a bad time. But this thing from Sabbatai Tzvi and Nathan of Gaza is like known as like the biggest catastrophe in Judaism before the Holocaust. It's like the biggest.
Really?
Yeah, I hadn't really heard of it until.
What's the catastrophe?
So this guy says he's the Messiah, the Messiah.
Oh.
Previously, the Messiah, I didn't know this either, or in Judaism, it was supposed to be Cyrus of Persia, because he's the one who sent, he freed him from Babylon, the second temple, they call it.
Right.
And he goes, go and form. Zionism started from Iran, and that's Persia, right?
Yes.
So Cyrus was called the first Messiah because, he made them the country. So anyway, there's something in Kabbalah about how it's like this whole thing of repairing reality by finding the sparks of God and this and that. Okay. So
I love that.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
It's called, wait, what is that called?
The shoehorn for the idea is always
Tikkun. It's called Tikkun.
Right. Look. They all look. Joe's Witness had his magazines where you could live in a paradise and play volleyball with a dolphin and pet a lion. And do you understand? That's the shoehorn part. Everybody likes the shoe. Oh, that sounds nice.
Okay, yeah, that's like that. That's what gets you to the meeting. All right, so where's the
These are all like Nigerian email scams. So hold on. So the big innovation from Sabatai Tzvi, this bipolar guy that said, "Oh, I'm the Messiah," and salvation through sin is since no one's there's no way everybody's going to keep the law. That's never going to happen,
right?
Or it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
It'll happen faster if we're so bad that he has to come. So now we're redeeming everyone. Salvation through sin.
Accelerationism, like you said. That
a Kali Yuga, acceleration. It's all the same fucking theme. We fucked this place up so bad, they're going to have to. He's going to have to send somebody to clean up. And then I'm kind of a hero.
Okay, so this is like, I saw this.
And they believe that it's brave. That path they're taking is real. And you'll hear it come out. I watch all kind of psychedelic and like occults.
Yeah.
And when I say occult, I don't mean like dark. I mean like, Gwyneth Paltrow positive fucking shit.
Yeah.
Because I just want to see what they talk about. And they all have these visions on DMT and ayahuasca of like some people, it's like they take a braver path. She slipped it in while she's talking about it. The brave path of doing... Well, she didn't get specific, but that's a real thing. The left-hand path of God,
yes.
I've heard it called in Mormonism.
Yeah, Tantra, the left-hand path.
Right. And so, but keep in mind, all these fucking paths, they're all just mind control. All of it is mind control. And people, I don't mean mind control in some crazy way. I mean the way it works on you every goddamn day of your life. Like when you're a kid, your parents are supposed to be the ones patterning your brain, right? Because you have two hemispheres, a masculine, feminine kind of. Mm-hmm. So you have a masculine, feminine thing to pattern.
Okay, define what's your definition of mind control?
What it is I steer you where I want you to go. So that would mean if advertising that worked on you.
Pretty much anything.
Or Tony Hinchcliffe, me and my girl coming out, and he just went to that game. So we were in our house early in the day, and I guess like, I thought we were about to be bombed because a B-1 flew over from that game.
Okay.
I don't know football or whatever, but we were like, whoa. And I was like,
scary.
The whole house is shaking. And then she looked up like, oh, it's some football game. So Tony's like, yeah, the game was great. They won. And then they flew these jets overhead. And it was just like, we're good.
Yeah.
He's saying this to me. America is like, I'm like, okay. And I very next thing he's like, oh, that's what I'm talking about, mind control. That's what I'm talking about.
So
you have a ritual, and then you have the shock and awe that we did in Iraq. That wasn't for them. That's for you. That's like you at a game,
right?
Watching a goddamn sigil baseball field magic thing be played out to pattern you.
Yes.
Then they fly the jets overhead.
Yeah.
It reinforces the program. All this shit is that. Every human nature is programmability. That's what Passio told me, that my buddy from the LeVay Church.
Yeah.
He's not in it now, but he explained what it was oriented around. And the people that know knew it was like Edward Bernays kind of PR marketing manipulation. That is mind control.
Do you think there is a way to live in the modern world where you aren't in some way, shape, or form being exposed to this kind of mind control tech?
I don't see one, do you? But what you can do is be aware that it exists, and the mental block. Like I said, calling it mind control, people already have a block. The same way when you hear conspiracy theory, which was invented by the fucking CIA, the Dulles brothers, like the Coen brothers of fucking Satan.
They invented the term conspiracy theory.
Yeah, they put it out in the fucking media.
What do you think is the better term for it?
Huh?
What's a better term for it?
I don't know, but I know in court you can't go, Your Honor, that when you're, on trial for conspiracy to murder, whatever, RICO, that's a conspiracy.
Right.
So
but
it
the
means
term
a thing,
is when someone says it,
they mean
generally
a thing
it's
that's
smug.
yeah.
It's like you're
Why?
an idiot. You've been sort of captured by irrational, paranoid delusions.
Yeah, that was invented.
Yeah.
That term, the way everyone says it, was right after JFK got killed.
Right.
Allen or whichever dumb shit Dulles, well, not dumb, but everybody else is dumb. This guy's smart. He sent, so they own the media. They have all their own report. This is all shit that's public record and not a conspiracy. He came up with calling it a conspiracy theory as like a derogatory thing. And the media repeated it over and over, just like they do with every other stupid phrase you've heard.
Yeah.
I can rattle them off, dude, like the democracy's on the ballot.
Always.
We fight them there, so we don't fight them here.
Yeah.
Think of all the greats that you heard. And they repeat them over and over again. That's hypnosis.
Let's go through them. Wait, let's go through them. Let's try to come up with the ones. Democracy's on the ballot. God, what's another good one that they're throwing around right now? I mean, it's
Putin propaganda. First of all, I think with Putin,
Putin propaganda, Russian propaganda.
You want? First of all, I don't give a shit about Putin. I don't know why I'm supposed to. Never been clear to me why. It's very vague. It doesn't. They almost as if it's still a communist country. The way they go on and on about it.
I think the reason that they're pissed at Putin right now is because he is trying to get off the petrodollar, which is how you start a war with the United States.
This goes back years, though. This is like, I remember when I remember when George W. Bush said he looked in Putin's eyes and he knew he was and the whole media's like, you're an idiot. What do you mean you looked in Putin's eyes? So that's 20 years ago.
I bet they knew 20 years ago that was on the agenda. Like if any country that gets off the petrodollar, Libya, anytime that starts.
That's why Gaddafi's a dead man right
exactly.
now.
Like and I don't know if people know about like BRICS. Can you pull that up, BRICS?
Yeah, no. So this is like where being on Jimmy's goddamn show, I can correlate a lot of conspiracy things. I can correlate to actual real world events.
It's good to do that.
So BRICS is for 3 years, dude. We've been talking about BRICS.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what in a nutshell. And you just hear nothing but crap from almost every source because all of them are for programming. It's North Korea, okay? So you know where you live. And the message you're getting, it is North Korea level propaganda, okay? Actually, theirs isn't as good as ours. But it's that much of a lie. At the very least, you don't have to believe any other wacky shit except know that they're lying to you and it's a government and it's legal to do ever since the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. That
Okay,
Obama
wait.
signed.
I'm going to argue with you about North Korea because I think the reason that is better is not in the efficacy of the propaganda, but in they managed to create an entire generation that believed the propaganda. You know what I mean? All you have to do is get the next generation to fully buy in.
We do
to
that all
whatever
the
thing
time.
is.
We do that all the time.
But we still have people like you and me who look at it and think this is mind control. We still have that among us. Whereas in North Korea, that is not so much there.
Well, that's where sanctions come in. So cancel culture, that's word that I didn't make that shit up. Okay. It just appeared one day. And the people go, what are you crazy talking about? All that is sanctions.
Sanctions, yeah.
They were hoping.
Social sanctions.
Oh, we played a video of Patrick Bet Value from the Valuetainment.
Yeah.
And he was talking to Trump. And he brought up the sanctions. He goes, Iran, they're about to rise up. He actually said this. This is a guy who's a billionaire, so I don't think he's a stupid guy.
Right.
What a moronic thing to parrot. The sanctions are going to make the people of Iran overthrow the Ayatollah any day now. They all say this.
That's what they
You know when that's happened ever? Not once. We have never imposed sanctions and all it does is push them. So here's why North Korea has a better system. Because they have a better enemy to point to make their people afraid of.
Right.
Us.
Right.
Okay? What do we got? We got Putin ain't Thanos.
China, Russia.
Yo, Thanos, that's why they over Hitler so goddamn much is because that was the Thanos.
Right.
After that, it's like, I don't care about these villains.
Right.
Special guest star villain. Then they reboot Putin every 10 years. Even Saddam Hussein, Osama. Now that's when the writers were good,
So, okay. So this to me, everything you're saying makes sense. And this is to me, like we remove all of these like fake enemies, things you're supposed to be afraid of, living in America, then really what you get to, and this gets decried by a lot of people because they say, what, you want these autocratic fascist dictators to sit at the table with us? But really what you get to is...
Like they do all the time?
Exactly. But you're talking about a kind of like positive globalism. You're talking about acknowledging we're all interconnected. There's no way to stop that now. Deeply interconnected. And that by having these defined enemies, it is producing catastrophic results in the form of never-ending wars, which benefit the military-industrial complex. And so
that sounds like a defined enemy you just mentioned.
The military-industrial complex.
Yeah, that sounds like it's not a matter of don't define enemies. It's a matter of maybe look upwards and not side to side as you're encouraged to do.
Right. So what is the real enemy here? You think it's the military-industrial complex? Is that like if we had
all the same? By the way, that includes the military-industrial complex is everything. That's the drugs and the food. There's really just one or two companies at the end of the day, and it's like Oceania. It's like 1984. The borders you think of, it was like, oh, our borders. Like you think you get to know where the borders are? You don't. That's above you.
Josh, can you pull up the amount of money the United States just donated to Lebanon?
Well, that's because so Israel, when they blew up those pagers, that's the things people aren't supposed to know exist. We were talking on the phone about it when you talk about the Pandora's box.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that much like Stuxnet virus and other things, that piece of shit Netanyahu, whenever he's in trouble and needs to look good in front of like the Looney Tunes Look Good party that he's part of, he just blows one of these secret things, and then the cat's out of the bag and everybody's mad about it. And it wasn't, oh, they blew terrorist dicks off. No, it's a bunch of civilians. Oh, a lot of kids.
But
a lot
also,
of kids picked up the pagers.
It means that now everyone all over the planet recognizes there's some way to do this, and there's still people using pagers.
I keep joking about it, because these kids, in the mothership, I'm like, how they definitely are going to war. Like, you're not going to get your way out of it. And I'm like,
the draft.
Oh, it's coming. And ever since we found out the Jews can blow up our vapes with a text message, the cat's been out of the bag.
Dude, that is like, that's going to be a real problem. Matter of time before
my vape,
one of those things, and that is a terrible thing to blow up in your face. Now, if we combine pagers and vapes, okay, look at this. So the U.S. just gave $157 million in humanitarian aid in response to the Lebanon crisis. Now, Josh, real quick, can you look up not enough money for North Carolina, ran out of money?
Dude, okay, wait one second. 157 million, by the way, that is nothing. Okay, they gave them almost nothing. You know what we gave to Ukraine and Israel? Think billions and billions of dollars. Okay, so we could afford this and helping people who were in the hurricane and slave reparations for people that weren't even slaves if we wanted. That's how much money they waste.
Dude, okay, yes, look at it. Okay, now, don't go to the CNN.
Okay, you know what that means when he goes, it's false, they spent it on migrants? They're doing a bullshit.
Click on the New York Times. Mayorkas warns of funding shortfall for rest of hurricane season. Now, this is the shit that pisses me off. Because, yeah, $157 million is not, compared to all the money that we need, a big deal. But when you hear, anytime right now, that you hear about our government giving money to another country, billions of dollars, $157 million to Lebanon. These people in the United States who have had their homes fucked up, they have, and by the way, this is an earlier story. They've run out of dough, and they're gonna pass a bill to give more dough, but everyone's got to get back into session, and they're not in session right now. So they have to wait to they can fill out the form to get hurricane relief, but they can't get it. And yet, we are just...
Migrants have credit cards they give them with money. Hey, remember Lahaina?
Yeah, you mean when it caught on fire?
Hey, remember here's the Palestine no one gives a fuck about. East Palestine, where that train overturned and all those chemicals fucked up. So this has been going on for quite some time. And dude, Lahaina. So think of who Biden fucked over while they were in traditional Democrat states. So
right.
All the Arabs that used to vote Democrat because of George W. Bush and the boys, they're now going to vote Trump. And you could see them like, well, how could they? Trump's not going to be better on Israel. Yeah, idiot. You have to get punished, your side, because you were bad on it. They keep And so these news reporters who are actors, they're just dipshits saying whatever. They don't believe anything. They're just hollow vessels. But the people, what they're trying to convey to you is this like reverse thinking, and that's why they repeat it over and over again.
Right.
So this has been Lahaina, by the way, was $600. They never found all those missing people, most of which were kids. It's in the thousands.
Right.
The official death toll, I'll bet you they still say is about $150. And the way they're getting that number, just like no, they didn't spend the money on migrants. No, what happened was they allotted we're going to spend all this money on migrants no matter what. So then when they go, we ran out of money, they're like not lying because some fucking bookkeeping mob shit. That's how it works. The prepaid debit cards, dude, it's not just the border people were bum rushing. We've been covering this for a while. Biden administration paid for like jets. They chartered private companies and use your asylum app. There's an app. You know
what?
Oh yeah, nobody knows about it. How is that possible?
There's an app.
Yeah, and you know where the app where they were giving it out? All the countries that we fucked with and have legitimate grudges against us.
Is this it?
Yes.
MIG app. Can you open that up, Josh? MIG app. MIG app, empowering migrants, irregular and unsafe migration, often as a result of lack of awareness about the risks and preparation of the travel, ill-informed knowledge of visa.
They don't want anybody knowing what flights.
So they call it irregular migration. That means like illegal migration.
Okay, whatever they put here, you just need to know the app's real. Everything else is horseshit that you should probably ignore because I'll tell you what it is. They're bringing in plane loads of people, military-aged men, not children unaccompanied that fucking disappear. That's very real. It's not made up.
No, that is they stopped. So they used to. So you're trying to get through the border. You got a kid with you. You say, I'm their dad. They do a DNA test on you and the kid to make sure you're their dad. They stopped doing that. Can you double check that too, man? Mm-hmm. Pull up DNA testing border paused or something. This is new. This is a new thing that they just started doing. And Okay, so they're trying to bring it back. Senator Marsha Blackburn is trying to bring it back. The Biden administration reportedly ended all DNA familial testing at the border last week, May 31st. So what that means is if you're trafficking kids across the border, you just say you're their dad, nobody checks. Now, can you Google how many unaccounted for children across the border?
Just so you know, like the world's dumbest rednecks that you would think are idiots, they all know this. The only people that don't know about this are moron fucking liberals like my friends in New York and LA people who I'm like, I look up to in comedy wise are the most ill-informed bumpkin dumb shit rubes I've ever seen. Everything's inversion now. So for example, RFK came on Jimmy's show and explained, he went to the border. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all these like a lot of Chinese, a lot of, it's not Mexicans. Okay. It's all these other countries that we fuck their country up. Okay. They were talking about when they come in, there's a thing they call the tree because that's so common where women have to pay with their bodies. They go by this tree, the tree.
It sounds like a horrible children's book.
I know. It's like an inverted Statue of Liberty. Like, oh, the immigrants saw the Statue of Liberty. Like, we see the tree when we go the other fucking entrance. Hey, go in the top entrance. Maybe look at the statue. So anyway, that's just one little... Now, if you think about the moronic...
Hold on 1 second. Josh, take a note of the tree, and we will have to bleep out.
By the way, you're not even allowed to say the name of a crime now. This is greater censorship than back in the Howard Stern versus the FCC days. Everybody I know that's got a channel has to make up another language to say words.
I know. I've been noticing that.
Yeah, so everybody goes, oh, you do mind control. Really? They did all this, and none of you you're like, well, I got to earn a living, so I'm going to get bleeped and blah. So it's real easy to control people here. I don't know how people haven't noticed it. I think they are, though. I think if you work in showbiz, especially in any way, you tend to be just a fucking moron about events, and because so much of it depends on your clique.
Okay, now this is something I've been thinking, and I have many friends who would mirror your frustration with the libs. This is why I've been thinking about that.
By the way, I'm not a conservative. I don't believe in America. I just want to make that clear, and I have never voted.
You're an anarchist. But here's what I think. This is the problem. This is a big problem. The libs look down on the conservatives. They think they're all idiots.
They flip classes.
The conservatives look down on the libs. They think they're all idiots. And I think that's a big problem, which is like, I don't think anyone's a moron, but I think what we are seeing is a swaths of people completely propagandized.
Yes, it's called mind control. So you're seeing a mind-controlled population. It worked.
That doesn't mean
the
they're dumb.
thing that they were talking about since the 60s. By the way, Neuralink, not a new thing. The guy's name is Carlos something. Some creep that was putting a chip in the head of in the brains of bulls, and then they would shock it in a certain spot.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't attack.
Yeah.
So this is, Neuralink's an old technology.
Lobotomy.
So one guy, and boy, try to find him on Wikipedia. He's not there. His name's Leonard Kyle. There's something like Control-Alt-Delete history or something. I may have sent you the link to it. But basically, this guy, Leonard Kyle, he had valuable patents on Kodak Polaroid, some kind of camera. And he was super jealous. He thought his girlfriend or his wife was cheating on him.
Okay.
And he would get really mad about it. He was going to see a therapist about it who happened to, work for the CIA, which is a common thing with a lot of these
Okay.
Same as the Joker shooter. His therapist, the guy was fine until his therapist from the CIA started helping him. Then,
How do you know the therapists are from the CIA?
oh, dude, all this shit has been leaked 1,000 times over.
Where does that come from, though? The therapists are. Is there a link, a direct?
I'll dig it up for you. I'll dig up the footnote. I mean, look, I'll dig it up. You can find it if you want.
I would
pretty
love
easily.
to dive in there. Like,
It's
how do they know?
Just so you know, people go, oh, how do you know that? Okay. It's like, how do you know Jeffrey Dahmer ate that guy that got eaten that they didn't pin it on anybody? It's the fucking CIA. But
you think Dahmer's CIA?
no. I'm saying the idea that it wouldn't be them is hilarious.
No, I don't know. I mean, it
So
just
people go, how do you know the CIA? Well, they did everything that's awful.
but as a fellow
Okay, so wait, let me finish this.
conspiracy theorist, I love finding the actual data.
I'll find it for you. Okay, but Leonard Kyle, you can find Control-Alt-Delete history or something. It's called. Okay. It's hard to find his name, but he got the first. It wasn't called Neuralink, okay, but he got it without knowing, without consenting to it. They could just do whatever the fuck they want to you, by the way, whenever they want, and they do. It was such a disaster when he started getting those signals. It drove him. This is a guy who's a very intelligent guy with inventions with Kodak, who's now reduced to like a mess because of the shit they put in his head.
What did they put in his head? I've
A chip,
never heard.
a Neuralink
Can you
chip.
pull that up? He's the first Neuralink
Here,
person?
Well, they didn't call it Neuralink. Hold on. I'll get it for you.
Thanks. I mean, I've never heard
I
of
know.
this.
Isn't it interesting?
First person
Here, I'll
who
get it
they
for you,
put
buddy.
in-
Hold on. I'm gonna text it to you.
Thank you.
There's a good channel with not a lot of viewers too. And let's see. Wait.
What's the guy's name? Leonard Kyle?
Yeah. Okay. Wait.
Leonard Kyle brain
you know what?
implant.
Wait, here, we'll get the video out because you really should see it. And I think people just don't look at shit I send them. A lot of times, I send everybody shit and they just won't look at it.
Part 7, Leonard in the
If people ask for it too. Okay, wait. No, I'm gonna get you the good one.
Here, you text it to me. I'll text it to Josh.
I'm gonna get you a good one. Okay. Because the Neuralink one, I tweeted this too.
How long ago was this?
Wait, so the guy, it fucked him up so bad, he was in a home. His patents were taken by, I don't know, maybe the government. But the main thing is, he was in so much pain from what he said were microwaves hitting his brain, because he's smart. They allowed him to wear tinfoil around his head to block the microwaves.
What the fuck?
And that's where we get the story of the tinfoil hat. From the first fucking Neuralink that fucked someone up.
Text me.
That's
the
a
thing.
fun story, huh? Hold on here.
We got to slow this down because a lot of you're like so deep in the rabbit hole that you were saying things that people have never heard, and we got to dig deep.
It gets
for our listeners.
It's hard to be like I know why. Okay, we got Leonard Kyle's, and Kyle's not spelled how you think. Okay, when Neuralink goes wrong, I'm gonna text it to you right now, dude.
This episode of the DTFH has been supported by Bird Dogs. Look, at this point, everyone knows we're probably a few years out from the Singularity. Wait, let me try it again. This episode of the DTFH has been supported by my friend. This episode of the DTFH has been supported by my friends at Bird Dogs. By now, 99% of people understand that we're only a few years away from the Singularity, where technology rips a hole in time, space, and completely annihilates our current conceptualization of what it is to exist as a temporal being in the third dimension. And as we approach this singularity, just as Terrence McKenna predicted, you can expect to see some awesome things, which brings me to today's sponsor, Bird Dogs. Let me tell you something. As the son of a Southern golfer, I have a stigma against khaki pants. My father didn't like it if I was wearing anything other than khaki pants. So when I would go visit him in the summer, we would take a trip to a horrible clothing store for golfers, and I would pick out these horrible khaki pants. I have to wear them around. I don't golf, didn't want to golf. Just look down at these things. You feel them against your legs. You just want to be free, man. You just want to be free. So, to discover that now, in the year 2025, geniuses have found a way to create khaki pants that not only will not trigger those of us who had fathers who forced us into khaki freaking pants, but also will allow those of us into the martial arts to do like leg kicks. These are stretchable, comfortable, incredible, beautiful khaki pants. They shouldn't exist, man. This is proof we could be in a simulation or that something is leaking through from the far, far future. These are the khaki pants you'd wear on the Enterprise. These are khaki pants you could break dance in. Are you kidding me? They're awesome. You really should try them. They really are incredible. If you live in an area that needs the help of a ninja and you're a secret ninja and you're sick of changing into your ninja outfit, these are your khakis. You won't have to change anymore. Just go into that church that they all took over, kick their ass, get back to work. No one will know. Their stretch khakis come in way more colors than just khaki PS. From graphite gray to hunter green, you're sure to find the right color for you. You also get to pick the waist and length size. No more rolling up your pants because they came too long. Oh, that was fun. Hot summers in Mobile. Cuffing up your khakis before you deliver pizza flyers because your dad wanted you to hand out pizza flyers for a shopping center. For a limited time, our listeners are getting a free hat with any order when you use code TRUSSELL at birddogs.com. That's TRUSSELL. You get their best-selling hat completely free when you use code TRUSSELL at birddogs.com. Bird Dogs, they remove the ancient curse that someone put on khaki pants that made us associate them with fascism. That's my theme song, but Bird Dogs, you're welcome to use that. That's yours. The brain implant disaster of Leonard Kyle, 1971. Okay, here you go, Josh.
It's weird. It's almost like we've had the technology a while and they're just handing it to people and they pretend like they invented it.
Here you go, Josh. Let's pull this up. Let's watch this.
Yeah, watch this. Watch this. This is a good channel too, and I don't think they get enough views. Although I feel like they're going to get in trouble for.
No, this is good. This is good. Like the history of brain implants.
Control Alt History. 2,000 views of this. That's it.
Okay, there it is. The brain implant disaster of Leonard Kyle. Let's pull that up. If you're considering a Neuralink implant, check this.
Oh, okay. By the way, in the 90s, they made another version. It was called Soul Catcher. It came out of England.
Great name.
Brain implant Neuralink is everywhere. Article after article after article, something Neuralink
Jump ahead a little bit.
Wait, no, leave it. Hold on. Oh.
The story begins with Dr. Jose Delgado, who is a Yale professor who is
what's
considered
he
the
holding
pioneer
there?
of using brain implants to control the human mind.
Mogwai.
All the way back in the 1950s, Delgado was implanting devices in the brains of monkeys and cats and later humans.
Okay, I've heard of him.
You could manipulate a person's emotions by delivering an electric shock to a specific area of a patient's brain. Depending on the area of the brain hit by the shock, a patient could be turned from happy to sad to scared to violently angry with the press of a button.
Jesus Christ.
Delgado famously demonstrated just how powerful his technology was by hooking up electrodes to a bull's brain. He then stood in the path of the charging bull and stopped it dead in its tracks.
Putting your money where your mouth
electricity
is
from a
right
remote
there.
Control device.
Wow.
There is so much more on Dr. Delgado's experiments and his vision
He
for
looks like he
humanity.
does
It is
brain
some
implants. He
absolutely
looks like a mad
insane,
scientist.
Wild stuff.
It's a fucking
It's
Nazi.
riveting to read. We won't get into him anymore here, but we do have a video coming out about Delgado very soon,
Fuck.
so be sure to subscribe so you're notified when it's out. Delgado named his brain implant device a stimoceiver, and one of the first people to receive a stimoceiver implant was a man named Leonard Kyle. Kyle is an interesting guy. He was described as a brilliant engineer who was the co-inventor of the first Polaroid instant camera
Holy
along with Edwin
shit.
Land, who founded Polaroid.
This is
Later, the
crazy.
camera was named after Land, the Polaroid Land instant camera, and Kyle's contribution has been mostly forgotten. But Kyle did hold numerous lucrative patents related to the camera, and there's been speculation that Kyle actually had more to do with the camera's creation than Land did. In
Crazy.
1966, Kyle became a patient of Drs. Vernon Mark and Frank Irvin. Kyle suspected that his wife was having an affair, and he would constantly lose his temper and fly into violent rages over the affair, and a psychiatrist referred him to these two doctors for neurological tests. Mark and Irwin were very close associates of Dr. Delgado, and they were heavily involved in brain implant surgery as well. There's some controversy over what happened after Kyle began seeing Drs. Mark and Irvin. The doctors either convinced Kyle to get an electronic brain implant to stop his temper tantrums, or they implanted the device into his brain without his consent. Either way, Mark and Irvin implanted Dr. Delgado's receiver device in Kyle's brain.
Look at
And
that.
this let them use a remote control to administer electrical
I don't think that's him.
stimulation to parts of his brain to
I
control
hope
his
not.
mood
Oh.
swings. That was the intention, at least. Unfortunately
Yeah,
for
this is
Kyle,
clo-
the
this is-
surgery did not go as planned.
Oh my God, dude. That is crazy. Look, so, okay, that is crazy.
Okay, the tinfoil part's the best part.
Okay,
That's
keep
my
going.
favorite
Keep
part.
going.
The operation to put electrodes in Kyle's head happened in 1966, and almost immediately, Kyle had after effects from the operation.
Of course.
Kyle claimed microwaves were frying his brain and putting him in excruciating pain. He was found wandering around a grocery store parking lot in California talking to himself and was hospitalized.
Holy shit.
He was released, but his behavior became increasingly erratic, and he was eventually committed to a mental asylum.
Wow.
A doctor investigating his case said Kyle was, quote, totally disabled by the operation and left unable to function in the day-to-day world. In 1971, a hospital attendant discovered Kyle holding a metal wastebasket over his head to, quote, stop the microwaves, and they brought him some tinfoil to make a protective hat for himself in place of the trash can. You've undoubtedly heard the term tinfoil hat before, and Kyle's case is one of
And
the main reasons
everybody
the term
says,
became
"Oh,
so
dude,
popularized.
all right, so you
Kyle
stop
claimed
it.
the
Well, watch.
tinfoil
This is a great channel. You should see Reagan's Epstein, which is
What
fantastic.
channel is this?
Control Alt History.
Fuck,
Look
dude.
how few views it has. So that's creepy as hell.
Wow.
So that's got to be being suppressed. Michael Crichton wrote Terminal Man based on this guy. If you look up in Wikipedia, they'll like have a fake, it's completely CIA infiltrated.
Wow.
CIA is allowed to propagandize American citizens ever since 2011. Now, by the way, of course they always did that.
Right.
But Obama made it legal. And with the way they sold it at the time, so it wasn't a lot of the shit they have to tell people in some way, but they don't have to, this is public, this ain't secret.
I remember reading something about Obama passing something that like allowed Americans to be propagandized, but I didn't look deeply enough into it.
The way it was described to me was it'll ruin free speech, or he signed a thing to end free speech. And it was like, because it trickled down, like the frog's gay, Alex Jones thing, that's a real thing that, is being described in like kind of a dumb way.
From microplastics or something is what they're saying.
It's a very specific chemical that a company is dumping into the water, and frogs can change sex depending on if there's not enough of,
Yeah.
but it mutilates their genitals so that they'll transform part way, but not all the way. Like if you turn into Hulky, it wouldn't be
Okay, I got it. Like
dick.
fucks with the minnows. It like gets into it's like
It mutates their genitals. But
Yeah.
they've been putting that into the water on purpose to do that to people because they want to program you.
is this
They
why
don't
my
want you to-
penis is shrinking?
Is it? How do you know it's shrinking?
I mean, just like
You have to have somebody
complaint-
measure it with
complaints
You have to have somebody measure it with their mouth.
from my complaint department. Shrinkflation, dude.
There's a thing called shrink. What is your penis backed with? Oil? Is it a petro penis?
Dogecoin.
My penis backed by Doge, so it's up and down. Put it that way. Anyway, so when this came out, they're like, oh, it's because Cuba, we send propaganda to them, but they just like baseball, and it happens to be illegal. And we just want to make it legal so Cuba can have baseball. And
counterterrorism.
Yeah, but anyway, Obama was the worst on just free speech and not free speech in saying you don't want a butter dick on your Bud Light can free speech. If free speech is in being a reporter and reporting on the crimes
right.
your fucking mafia government you live in does.
But now, okay, let me stop you there for a second. So this brings us back to what we were talking about originally. And this is like, and I agree with you. Like, everywhere you go now, if you live in a country, you're getting propagandized in some way, either by the corporations, by other countries, whatever.
It's just life.
It's just life. But the reason it was so chilling to be in Vancouver was because what you're seeing there is like the next step.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the next step. And so
Kamala grew up in Canada.
So now, can you pull up Kamala Harris talking about censoring Twitter? Look at now. So people have to understand, like, this isn't like, quote, conspiracy theory shit. They really want to implement what they're doing in Canada here. And yes. I saw a video. Oh, wait, is it a false claim? But, you don't have to just pull up the things that, people should be very, pull up one of these.
I saw Vice President Harris.
I know you wrote to Twitter and the CEO, Jack Dorsey, and asked him to take away the president's Twitter handle.
This week gave a statement where she said that Elon Musk better watch out.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that
just stop
right there. You see that? Privileges? So all these fuckers are the same. Your rights, they don't like them.
It's a privilege.
The only right you got is to say your pee-pee is a poo-poo if you want. But everything else, you don't have those are privileges.
It's a privilege.
So remember when the term white privilege came out from that fat cunt from Madison, Wisconsin professor, Peggy McIntosh? It's the seminal essay that in 2010 or 11, everyone was saying you gotta read about white privilege. And she made a list of her privileges that she experienced as a white lady.
Right.
It's all part of intersectionalism, the concept that people from different backgrounds have different experiences intersecting in light. Oh, wow. That's worth going into debt to learn that amazing science of, oh, no shit. So she put out a thing of her privilege, and all the privileges, if you look up the Peggy Mac, because the reason I know about this is because at the time when you'd heard this nonsense coming out, I would try to have people on my podcast with Chirag called Race Wars, and we would like anybody, we didn't care. We just wanted to know what the hell this was. And we didn't understand what it was. And you never deal with people from that cult because they're there to destroy. They are there to eat you from the inside out, as they've done. That's what they're there for, okay? But we're like, well, tell us about this idea. And they're like, I'm not here to educate you. You're not? I'm just here to tell you what to do. Okay, I like to read.
Right.
So I read the things they tell me to read. They're so insane. And then when I bring it up to people, they would glaze over. And this is where liberals are dumb as shit. The same way a lot of right-wingers, here's the thing, here's something I resent the fuck out of.
Vent.
Okay? Especially Candace, what's her name? Owens.
Candace Owens.
But I mean, I like her. She was right about, I believe her about France, the Macron and his wife used to be a man, 100%. She found out Kamala's real family, that picture of the grandma.
Right.
It's totally fake. That's a servant. So she does it, okay? And she knew about this Sabatai Sevi and the Frankists. The Frankists revived Sabatai Sevi, okay? And that's what a lot of, it's not really Jews. It's like, they're like fake Jews. It's the same way if Aleister Crowley became a Satanist but he's still within that paradigm of Christianity. That's what the Frankists are. They're like satanic Jews. They actually hate Jews.
The Frankists hate Jews?
Oh, yeah.
Again,
wait, hold on.
I'm having to slow you down because you are making an assumption that, and this is exciting for me because usually in the green room we're having these conversations. I'm listening to you and I'm not looking this stuff up. Can you Google just Frankists real quick?
Well, she talked about it too, but here's the problem.
Okay,
how she talked. I'm just trying to get to this.
Okay.
So how she talked about it, and she knew a lot of stuff. But here's what happened. And then she goes, oh, and she did a thing, and we played it on Jimmy's show. And I'm like, she's not saying something wrong, but what she's missing the point when she's doing this, because she goes, oh, you're anti-Semitic. She's anticipating people calling her anti-Semitic for saying this. and then she's doing like a voice. Oh, look, she's anti-Semitic, because it is crazy when you read about this. And she's also leaving out, and everybody needs to understand this about their precious fucking thing to them. So she became Catholic, I think, in 2017, which is weird as shit, by the way. She married a guy who's Catholic.
Candace Owens.
Yeah, and Frankists are bad, right? Well, sweetie,
we have to cut.
My mother, I was a Jehovah's Witness. My mother was a disillusioned Catholic, okay, who the way people leave a religion is when it doesn't do the thing it was supposed to do that they told you it does. That's when people leave. You could have never talked me out of my religion. When I was a Jehovah's Witness, you could have never never. Okay, you could have shown me all the science, all kinds of stuff.
You were a Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah, my whole life. Until I was 20.
No way!
Yeah. Well, this is why I was even making the point about with Candace Owens. Like, I'm sure Candace would feel the same way. And her talking about this demonic shit, like, okay, now that you've seen this real thing, don't think it's just the other guy's group that you're not in. It's your group. And if you really are a Christian, you'll recognize that. If you're part of a football fucking team, like some dumb wop, like I was lucky enough, my Italian mother got out of being a dirty papist.
God damn it.
And your Roman popery. True God, guide my hand against your Roman popery.
Come on!
You're Bill the Butcher.
Okay. Give me a fucking break.
Wait, but so look, the whole point is that's why, like, now with the election and Kamala, just Trump has to win. And I don't mean because he's good or he's really gonna Trump ain't the savior. There ain't no savior in the form of a president coming, just so you know. It's debatable about other kinds of saviors. I hope I hope there is something like that. But it ain't going to be the president of the United States, no matter what. You're always on the Freemason checkerboard, no matter fucking what. And that Kabbalah shit, that the Frankists and all them, what they've done is they think they're like spiritual bungee jumping, that they're going to go so far down, it snaps us all into the...
Yeah.
It's basically a parallel of the Tower of Babel story or the Atlantis story.
Right.
If you ever see Edgar Casey, he talked about a thing called the Two-Eye Stone, which is spelled like two-E. It's not spelled... But they had a network, supposedly. You know, Atlantis is like a global government.
Really? Is that what it means?
Yeah, it's not like one island. The capital, what's the fucking sea god?
Poseidon.
Like Poseidopolis or whatever the fucking Greek bullshit. That's the main certain one you see with the rings and all that. But it's supposed to be a global where they go. And supposedly they were all, they had psi. So they're all linked up. So if they get polluted with something bad, it'll spread. It'll cause problems. So Nimrod takes place after the flood in the Bible, but Nimrod, same thing. We're gonna build a Tower of Babel to the Singularity. You know, we're gonna storm heaven.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
I thought of this before I even looked into any of this shit. It reminded me when the Twitter came out and everybody started fighting. It reminded me very much of the Tower of Babel, that we're going to build this fucking singularity that will unite everyone and a blah, blah. And all of a sudden, nobody can speak the same language anymore. So now words, because all the mind control bullshit, when we say words to each other,
they don't mean the same thing anymore.
That's a conscious effort to do that. And occultists love double meanings so all the things don't mean the thing now. They like to gape. It's like they like to jam new definitions into words that already have definitions, like they're gaping them, like two dicks in one hole.
You know where I don't disagree with you on this? It's so interesting because we both have similar ideas about a lot of things, but where you and I think really disagree is I don't think it's so black and white as you do. Like I don't.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, in the way I look at it is that all religions, any time you have a priest class, a hierarchical religion, you are going to, within that system, find corruption inevitably.
Or a king. Look, the battle of priests and kings is what this whole shit is.
But I don't think that within these religions, whatever it may be, whether it's Judaism, Catholicism, Christianity, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, Scientologists, like the whole thing, I think has within it many cases of like absolute betrayal of what it was bringing into the world.
The left-hand path is what that ultimately ends
But
up
I
with.
don't think that it's bad. I think that's just what happens when
That's how they sell it to you.
I don't think it's a sales. I think it's like whenever I've been in like a Christian church or encountered Christians. Or,
What's a Christian church?
what do you mean?
Like what church?
I mean, I can remember my friend took me, and I don't remember the denomination of this particular church, but I can remember being in this church, and I was going there. This was earlier when I had less of a interest in Christianity, but I remember like they're doing the mass, and I remember this woman is like giving me the wafer, which is Jesus' flesh,
Right.
and I remember looking at her eyes and realizing she believes this is Jesus' flesh. But more than that, I realized like the vibe in there was so profoundly good and sweet.
Right.
And this is, when I used to hang out with the Hare Krishnas or all the different religions that I've encountered, my on the ground experience has always been, at the very worst, it's boring. But in general, the precepts that are similar between a lot of these world religions, to me, if everyone were acting in that way, it would be a more peaceful world.
Yeah, no shit.
There wouldn't
Who's
be
debating
war.
that?
Right. So I don't see it as like, I don't see it in the same way you do. I don't see
I don't see it the way you think I see it, apparently, because I don't know what you're
okay,
talking
I
about.
misunderstood you.
No. Right hand, left hand. Let me tell you what the right hand path is for in the words of the great Mormon Gordon Hinckley, whatever, who was working with the CIA and tons of allegations. The prophet Gordon Hinckley. And I got this from MormonMonarch.org. J.R. Sweet's the guy. Because they all explain the same thing. So you just described your sensations in it pretty well. You feel the good. So that's all of us focusing that's a lower magic ritual. All of us focusing our intent.
Yeah.
On the same thing. You sing. Now, if you want to not be insulting, because it's kind of insulting to say that it's like wizardry what they're doing in a church and they got wizard hats, you could say it's reverse magic. And a lot of churches, old Catholic churches, are built on, and Orthodox are built on former sites of ritual magic because they're trying to reverse it. And they got the bells and the resonance and all that. But then the boredom. The worst thing you felt is boredom. So what are you describing there? A feeling that this is good, probably followed by boredom, because that's when you're getting fed on by the left-hand path.
Oh, come on.
I'm telling you what they say. And by the way, the Klepote, the thing that we're going to be moving into, that's vampiric. See, it's, are you a fucking vampire or not? Okay, that's all.
Okay, now here's what I would do, though. If I really wanted to fuck up the one possible, like the one glowing truth that humanity might be able to warm its hands on once the power goes out, what I would do is, and I don't think you're intentionally doing that, but isn't this exactly what you'd want to do? Like, if it's all mind control, wouldn't you say there's some possibility your idea of this left-hand path stuff within...
I didn't make that up.
I know, but maybe how do you know that you haven't been programmed by some other faction? It's just wars of mind control.
Wait. 100%. Look.
What faction?
Here's what the important part of the whole thing. I'll just cut to the shit because I don't know what's true in the Bible. The thing you're talking about, the wafer, so there's a guy named Jay Parker you should look up who grew up in Arden, Delaware.
Yeah.
And he says this artist community, they actually they have a cult there called the Church of the Marquis of Hell. Don't know what that is. I tried to look it up. That's a title, so there's a lot of them. He described it. Anyway, it's real creepy fucking shit. Okay? And but his parents who were in it would always joke about how they tricked, because these people, I used to wonder, okay, if not Satanists, by the way, that's like low tier, hot topic bullshit to farm psychopaths for the real shit in the old religion. Okay? Like any other thing, like Serranos, La MA gets New Mexican Mafia out of Southern Mexico, like the same way, or a minor league baseball team. That's the same. And you're just looking for psychopaths, people that can follow their will no matter what. You understand?
Okay.
And then they get more sophisticated.
Okay.
And that, I never understood what Luciferianism was. I always just thought it was like a epithet, but it's a very specific thing. It's about balance. And theirs goes back to the Frankish shit and the Jesuits, a bunch of stuff. That's where your forward-facing part of you is like beloved, like your Jimmy Savile charity.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And then to balance that out, it's not just like, oh, I did a bad thing, so I do a lot of charity to balance out how bad I was. No, you're required to do something bad to balance out that good. You're supposed to keep the dialectic going.
Oh,
because
right.
you are beyond good and evil.
Right.
Okay? So that's what that religion's about.
Frankism.
No, Luciferianism. These all fall under Luciferianism. It's not the same as Satanism. Satanism's like I said, the hot topic, dyed hair retard level. Okay? I'm a rebel.
I have many satanic friends. This is my guest view.
Well, I'm sure they know about.
Love you, Mitch Horowitz.
But yeah, listen, I don't trust that motherfucker at all.
Why?
Because I watched his lectures at a goddamn Freemason hall. I've watched his lectures, and I don't trust him.
I used to do a stand-up show at a Freemason hall in a graveyard.
I just got done. I'm just telling you what I just watched. I watched him just lie about, I don't know if there's even a Templar. There's another guy who's in the goddamn Templars going on shows telling his own fucking lie. It don't really matter. They're all the same thing. Mystery school bullshit. And here's something creepy as fuck about Freemasons.
What?
So when you, most of it is just going to a fucking thing and whatever. Okay, fine. But why are you doing these ceremonies at all? I don't understand.
It must be fun.
No, what it is, Jack the Ripper's crimes, by the way, are the slitting. If I tell, may my throat be slit from whatever. Tear my guts out and throw them over my left shoulder.
Yeah.
That's what Jack the Ripper did, by the way. He was doing Freemason shit. Those are initiation. They fake them, okay? So Mitch Horowitz, I don't know what he's plugged into, but it's not good. And you should tell from the chain wallet. When you see a guy still wearing a chain wallet, by the way, okay? I mean, I'm joking, but I'm not.
He is. Let me tell you, Mitch Horowitz is such a sweetheart. He's such a nice guy. He's really smart.
Michael Aquino was a real nice guy and very pleasant. His voice would almost put you to sleep.
I don't know much about Aquino.
Oh, you look into him.
But can
you put his picture up?
Oh, I mean, I know what he looks like. He looks like Dracula.
Okay, so
Michael Aquino from the military.
By the way, so the Satanic Panic, that bullshit was to cover over a bunch of intel ops that were very disgusting. So this sack of shit.
Look at his eyebrows.
Yeah, look at him with Sammy Davis and LaVey. So anyway, I used to wonder why these people thought like they're going to have a war. Because, when I felt like I was atheist, I just didn't dress up and comb my eyebrows into a devil shape. I just lived my life.
I'm almost there. I'm almost.
Right. So I didn't do goofy shit. So why are they doing that? No, there's a reason they're doing that. Okay. But what this guy Jay Parker said, his parents, they used to laugh. They said they sold Christians cannibalism light because it's like a vegan version of eating flesh, right? That's when people would trash Christians way back when. Oh, they're cannibals because they eat Christ's flesh.
Yeah.
And probably what that really was, my guess. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get those Aquino eyebrows.
Why would you do that?
Did it work?
Oh, it did, yeah. Maybe you're the only one who could battle him. Look at that. Yo, can you play the video of him on Geraldo Rivera?
Michael Aquino, Geraldo Rivera. This guy's a real freak.
Now, the main thing, the reason to look all this up is none of the things you're hearing about now are new. They've been happening over and over and over again. So let me give you an example. The book of Revelation and I can't stand, first of all, people think the King James Bible is the only Bible and all that bullshit.
I love the King James Bible.
Yeah, well, a fucking gay king revised it. It's not even a translation. Anyway, so Revelation, when it was written, it was not about America, okay? It was about
Rome.
Okay, and it wasn't used, it was in the 1800s when Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons and all the other places came out of upstate New York, like the goddamn tech sector. That's when all of a sudden Revelation's about now, okay? Again, but it wasn't. They thought that Revelation already happened when the Holy Roman Empire, or, when the Holy Roman Empire took over. That was like, oh, Christ reigns because we're the one true church.
It's not even 666, right? Like apparently the number of the beast, 616. They got it wrong.
I think the larger thing is why would a Christian incorporate gematria into their worship when that's supposed to be witchcraft? That's a larger question. But here's what I realized about Revelation, okay? Because you're going to see people who are like, this fulfills the thing in I mean, you can plug in all kind of shit. Yeah, it was about Rome. Hey, remember that viral thing? Do men think about Rome every day? Why do men think about Rome every day? Because we're redoing Rome. So that means Revelation is going to apply again. Get it?
Okay, follow me on this because this is what I've been thinking about that. This
If you-
is
yeah.
okay. We're going to zoom back a little bit, simplify. I think the reason the Book of Revelations,
Revelation.
mine's Revelations. I have a
No,
better
it
one.
is not.
The
Apocalypse, you could call it.
So this is what I think. I think that, and again, this is a really fun conversation as like two people who really get like into this stuff.
Yeah.
You want to find like, what is the E equals MC squared? What's the simplification of what we're talking about? And if
As above, so below.
And I think it's power. I think what we're talking about is when power gets imbalanced in massive ways, it shows up like the Kali Yuga. It shows up like the Book of Revelations. The Book of Revelations, not prophecy, but rather...
What do you think prophecy is?
Well,
Fortune telling?
Yeah, from the standard,
It's not.
from the standard perspective. Or a prophet is someone who is getting a divine message and then relaying it to the
Okay,
world.
so that's very different. The way people think of prophets is that as like a fortune teller or a tarot reading or something. It's not, and it's been made into that for most people. It's really not what they are. You know what a prophet is?
What?
They're just pointing out the thing in front of your fucking face that's there right now in the present.
Right.
And I've seen it firsthand because people go 3 years later, they go, hey, I think something's up with Diddy. Okay?
Right.
So they're not telling the future. People have had their entire sense of time distorted. And now they got extra shit to do this with, electromagnetic waves and all kinds of ways to manipulate your very concept of time. Do you understand how crazy? You know, are they using a device to time travel? What if I could just use a thing on the population and set your clock back 20 years and now I'm in the future? Oh, I time traveled.
Cool.
Do you understand? That's what this shit's about. It's so the mind control where I control your imagination and I lock you into certain patterns and you know what you must not do and this and that.
Yeah.
Right? If I do that to enough people, that's a high magic ritual. So now we went from me lying and manipulating to now it's reality because I chained together enough of these processors to make the matrix I want. That's what they do. If you do it to enough people, it becomes high magic and it becomes reality. And now you're watching people set in literally different, you know, when I first heard this idea that kind of blew my mind that
Look, we have to think about pants, friends. That's where we're at. You got to wear pants. You get arrested if you don't. And so if you're going to choose pants, you got some options. You're either going to like get old school style jeans that were made for miners. They were made for people working in factories that they were made to withstand like gears that kids would fall into in the early 1800s. So that at least you still got the genes. Maybe the crushed bodies of the child are no longer useful for your buggy factory, but you got those genes to give to another kid. Those aren't comfortable genes. Those are the genes of death. Those are genes that remind us of the bloody past of humanity and make us so happy to live in the current world that we are. And why are we happy? Because of the perfect gene. I recently got a pair of jeans from the perfect gene, and this is it. This is it. There will never be a better gene. No one will try. I imagine there's many people out there who are gene creators, and they're gone. They just wandered off drooling into the woods. I'm sure the woods of our planet are filled with heartbroken seamstresses who thought they were going to get into the gene business and then found a pair of the perfect gene and realized, no, I couldn't do this. I won't, there's no way. It would be like, I'm not God. These jeans fit like they're custom made, stretch like you wouldn't believe. They look fantastic. The fabric is as soft as the undergunt of a unicorn. And they're durable enough to survive. What? And they're durable enough that they could be the undergunt of a unicorn. As you know, the undergunt of a unicorn often gets briars and thorns as they gallop through the forest. perfect gene also has a seriously massive range of sizes with 6 fits, from skinny to thick. Waist sizes from 26 to 50 and lengths 26 to 38. So it doesn't matter if you're a short king, thick daddy, or something in between. You can find the perfect fit for the body you're rocking. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc, or Google The Perfect Gene and use code Duncan15 for 15% off. I put these babies on and I felt like I was baptized again. Singularity is near, friends. While we still exist in 3D space, why not slip on some perfect genes and celebrate existence itself? Thank you, Perfect Genes.
You know, in Egypt, I don't know, Egypt's a long time of a thing. So there's a lot of there, but the idea your body is inside your soul, not the other way around.
Oh, cool.
Have you ever heard anything like that?
I think you told it to me once.
When I heard it, I was like, now I think it's more complex than that, but essentially that's what it is. So what does that mean? You got a bubble of reality around you.
Yeah.
And Michael Aquino, this creep, would talk about that. I fell asleep listening to this asshole talk.
Oh, no.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, no.
But that's, in Frank Herbert's Dune, the voice. The voice is not some scary alien god voice. The voice is real pleasant, and it makes you tired. It makes you sleepy. It's hypnosis. And by the way, that shit's real powerful, okay? You don't even have to know. You can look out for it. That's what I'm saying. You can't avoid them trying to do it to you. You can't avoid that. You can look out for it and know how you're being tricked.
So okay. So your soul lives inside of a reality bubble. I'm talking about your soul specifically.
I don't know. How do I know?
Well, I'm just saying, for the sake of what we just talked about, your sort of reality tunnel you're in. You exist in a world where the majority of world religions are hypnotic mind control devices.
That's human nature, is programmability.
Well, wait, let me finish my question. So you're in a world of like intense mind control with various sort of like puppeteers behind it that are nefarious in nature and are attempting to gain control over people. So what do you do day to day to deal with living in that kind of world? Like what do you have a technique or a method that you use to like not completely like...
I'm having some claws while I talk about it. You ever have claws? I like a nice vape and a claw.
Can I see, like, you've been drinking White Claw?
This is a 3-claw podcast. By the way, I brought exactly 3 claws to this. I planned the claws I would
Wait a
need.
minute, the whole time you've been talking about mind control, I have not noticed that you are drinking watermelon White Claw.
Best White Claw there is.
Dude.
It takes exactly 3 White Claws.
I have diabetes. I can't drink this shit, but man, listen, if I had to guess, dude, don't you think drinking White Claw is more dangerous than the hanging out with Jesuits or Frankists?
I mean, no, I've never, had my asshole fucked while I have flashing lights in my eyes.
You just reminded me. Speaking of getting your asshole fucked, guess what I did yesterday?
I can't.
Colonoscopy.
Oh yeah, that's great. You get
have you gotten one before?
Oh my God, that's the only way I can get that Michael Jackson milk.
Dude.
Michael Jackson milk. You get milk?
Can we talk about propofol for a second?
Michael had it every night to go to sleep.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like this, I don't know how
What if he needed that to sleep every night?
Dude.
Michael needed that.
Okay, let me ask
you. You know why? Because he was innocent.
Yeah, and all the accusations. No,
because he didn't do it, so he needs the dreamless sleep
Let
of
me tell you.
propofol.
Do you know how hard it is to fall asleep with a lot of kids in your house? They're fucking loud.
You use melatonin? Well, Michael got milk.
No, dude. Propofol. If you had it in your house, like just imagine this, like it's next to your bed. It's somehow there's a new propofol technology or like a new mattress that injects propofol into you.
Yeah.
Would you use it? Come on. You'd use it. You wouldn't use it.
You know what I would use?
What?
GHB.
GHB. I've
GHB?
never fallen down on GHB though.
I've never tried it, but let me tell you about GHB. Because a lot of people don't seem to know shit about it, and they get a lot of stuff wrong. So GHB is if you poison yourself with it, it's going to be real bad. You know,
Yeah,
and you can do all kinds of shit.
you get
But
fucked
4
up.
hours of GHB sleep, unlike propofol. But propofol felt great. I thought it does.
Felt
GHB
great.
is like it's like 12 hours of sleep to get 4 hours of sleep on GHB. It came out as a bodybuilder thing.
You used to be able to buy it at GNC.
That's right. And so while you're sleeping, you're stimulating human growth hormone.
Yeah.
It also is like a sexual. It makes people kind of horny.
Does it? I never got horny on GHB.
I've never tried it, so I don't know. It's not tasteless. It's not a thing. The thing where you like put it in and it changes the color of your drink when they start. GHB, you would never not know it was in your drink. It definitely has a taste to it.
Yeah.
That's Rohypnol. Okay.
Okay.
There's something else GHB is good for, and they're using it to treat stuff. And guess what?
What?
That's infringing on a bunch of separate medications that cost a lot of money. So they made some law, and it's named after a girl's name, like Megan's Law.
Sure.
Who was not date raped with, there was no GHB involved in her attack at all, but they put her name on it because a pharmaceutical company paid for that.
Oh my God.
It's absolutely, now,
That is
here's
so
something crazy.
fucked up.
It's absolutely illegal. You have to know somebody that cooks it to get it.
Yeah.
Okay? But Rohypnol is a less of a the actual roofies. There's somehow some way you can legally obtain roofies and they are still manufactured.
Okay, this is
but
interesting.
not GHB.
See, I remember for a second, everyone was talking about Rohypnol,
And it became GHB out of
and then
nowhere.
it just disappeared. No one talked about it anymore.
Right.
Everyone just stopped talking about it. Then it was GHB.
Right.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
That's all the drugs. All the drugs do. And marijuana is my favorite because if you look into how Ultra and Monarch and MK Often and all the names they have lists of what every kind of chemical known to man does to people's minds. You know, they heard in Colombia there's that stuff that hookers put on their nipples that makes you completely black out and you'll give them all your money and you won't remember anything.
Oh yeah, it's the voodoo drug. They make it out of like something out of the ocean. It's crazy. The ingredients are crazy.
They'll say things like, I took your heart and replaced it with a stone.
Zombie dust. This is like when they would talk about zombies. It's
you
like
know how zombification works?
It's this shit, right?
They tell you they have your soul.
Yeah.
You believe them.
Yeah.
Now you're afraid to do it. Now you're under control.
Right.
So do you understand how that works? You think our government wouldn't learn how to big pharma that immediately if they could? Of course
any government would want to do that.
Any corporation would want to do that. In fact, a lot of them have their own proprietary blends that they use to do it. That's why it's not all under control of one, even though it's one company, it's really just one big corporation. That's what I consider Satan to be, by the way, the big corporation. It's a collective. It is not, Satan's a title, adversary. He's not God's enemy. It's your enemy. God's the author of the book. George R. R. Martin's not threatened by the mountain.
Right.
You understand? Okay? The characters in the book are threatened by the mountain.
Right.
Also, Satan is not a creator. Satan's a fucking hack. So
right.
People get twisted in this idea that Satanism is like somebody trolling you on the internet to drain fucking energy out of you.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Satan is the producer and Satan is the one signing the, not the artist. That's the big trick. And when you hear these stories about the guy selling his soul, let's say they're not real at all, they're metaphors.
Yeah.
It's the same as fucking getting a record contract. It's going Diddy and signing your soul to the devil are the same theme.
Speaking of which, can you pull up Diddy lubricant GHB? Did you read this shit?
I already knew that, yeah. There's probably not just GHB in there. There's probably also liquid cocaine. Remember Jonathan Oddie?
No.
Put Jonathan Oddie. I don't know how people don't know about this.
Well, wait. Look, just so people can see this. The baby, okay, they're saying the baby oil is laced with drugs, with GHB.
I don't think there's any oil at all.
With rohypnol or GHB. They mentioned it there. Allegedly laced baby oil with rohypnol or GHB. So now
it's GHB probably. Because GHB has more of a aphrodisiac effect, supposedly.
Right.
I've never tried it.
But it seems like if you're giving someone like a GHB massage, you could kill them because people do die on GHB.
Well, that might be what Kim, his wife that died.
Oh, fuck.
Because she got a massage before she died, which is very strange. Yeah.
Dude, so they OD'd on
and then they
this shit.
see a trail of blood, so I don't know if you vomit blood or whatever happens, but
whoa.
Very easy. Why did she get a massage? And she didn't have any electronics like her phone and all that around.
Holy shit.
So that sounds like making sure you can't get help. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. It's weird to have it's weird when people keep dying around you, but everybody brings up the Clinton, Clinton death count or something. All the people that have died around the Clintons.
Yeah.
Go look into the Bushes and the Cheneys and everybody else.
All of them have just
go look into Obama.
Tons of people die. The Obama chef.
I can't believe how much Trump is innocent compared to these people, which I would have thought he had done way worse shit.
Right.
If they had it, okay, he would be in jail. Remember all the things? None of them have worked out.
Right.
All of those trials.
Right.
Not one has worked out.
I mean, that is a very frustrating. Okay, so here's what's frustrating about that. Like, when you look at every American president, and you look at...
Wait, they got to get them on a crime that they are not also guilty of, or they're fucked. So that's the challenge.
It has to be a new crime.
It has to be a thing that you can't easily go, you did that. So the Mar-a-Lago top secret files, and then Biden has them, and next week... By the way, Hillary's emails thing, every moron I know... And by the way, smart people, but they're like moronic. They're like, I don't think she would do. Yeah, my grandma has a fucking separate server she keeps in her bathroom.
See, but this is the part that really is scary, which is that there does seem to be a lot of people in the world unwilling to accept that nothing's really changed. Power is violent. Power is aggressive. Power breaks laws that we're not allowed to break.
Why do you think it didn't change? I'll tell you why. Because rather than focusing on who's right about the ultimate answer, here's what you should focus on. You live under a system, a pyramid, if you will, a timeless pyramid of fucking slavery. And what are the pyramid bricks built out of? The perpetrator-victim cycle.
Yeah.
And so the way we keep the pyramid timeless architecture to the pyramid is by victimizing and then okay, so the appeal of Jesus, you don't have to think he's a real guy. Maybe he's a tulpa or an egregore. Maybe he's that. It don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
The point of Jesus is not love, forgiveness, that you can be forgiven. The concept that not only can you be forgiven, anybody that wants to be genuinely should be, and if you don't, it's harmful to you. Now, what's the point of that? To make people weak so we can have power over them? That's a story they'll tell you from a secular point of view. No, the pyramid's based on victim-perpetrator dynamics. Everyone's guilty and everyone's a victim. As this shit comes out, the only way we get out of this.
Yeah.
Some guy, when I was out of town and my girl sending me the Ring camera of these fucking wiry, the kind of homeless they got here, these meth head coyote dudes.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers coming on my porch and like they'll harass people are so fucking passive, dude, here. It's sickening. And it's going to get worse and worse because they're like that. But I'm like, I'm going to stomp this guy to death. I'm seeing this thing. I can't do nothing in a hotel. I mean, it put me in a rage, dude. He came and stole my fucking ashtray off the porch. And I was looking at this scumbag, and he's trying to like pull the camera off because he must have gone there before. Okay? So my instinct is not to forgive him. My instinct is to get not something lethal, a taser, maybe that foam, look for him, and just practice. Because I think if the cops won't come to protect me, they ain't going to do nothing for him.
Yeah.
How the fuck am I going to not feel that way?
Right.
I still can't tell you Christ compels me not to. But I understand what the weakness is and what the structure is. And that's the point. And I think these people think of the old religion, like we made up Christ. There's like 3 or 4 of them. Oh, I'm sure there is. I think it's the Shakespeare thing, the play, and everybody's got.
Yeah.
But you audition for the role you want, and you can play that role.
Right.
You could play the role you want to play in the fucking script.
Yeah.
And people do. But because that was written into the script by these assholes, I think it fucked them. I think they don't want you to know that. I think that they don't want you to know your rights, which is to be forgiven, because the people in the real dark shit have done things that are so crazy, whether they wanted to or not, and they've been told you can never be forgiven now.
Right.
And there is no, and they do like crazy elaborate plays to little kids.
So
basically, so what bloody Jesus comes in.
So you're basically what you're saying is
forgiveness.
Forgiveness is the antithesis of hierarchical
the slavery
power
system shaped like a pyramid. And that's why they love pyramids.
For this shit to work, it requires unforgivable sins. And that creates division.
Victim perpetrator cycle forever.
Forever.
For the pyramid not to collapse, okay? It's a very strong, you know what I mean? Like and it's timeless. It's a timeless thing.
Okay.
So the idea that you could be forgiven, but you got to forgive also. Okay? You got to forgive other people. And just the act of that, it makes you conscious of how you're wrong too, and then maybe your anger should go down a little.
This is man.
Right?
I've never heard it like this, but truly,
I never thought of it like that until I looked into what. I never understood The Exorcist because I was like, okay, I'm Satan or Pazuzu or whatever the fuck, and why would I do this? Make a big show possessing someone. The second that you see the girl floating and her head spinning around, it proves God's real. You just why would you? How does that as a strategy?
Yeah,
I think it's something like, not that's a real story, but like, the Frighteners with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, sure.
He's in league with some and then he fake exorcises them. I'm sure. I look at things like internet scams. So getting demonically possessed is like you followed a Nigerian email or a phishing scam. A Dybbuk in Judaism is not a fallen angel. It's a dead person. It's called means clinger.
Ugh.
Like a body thetan from Scientology or a computer virus.
Right.
So you go around in the Akashic records or whatever the fuck, the dark, deep web of your subconscious.
Yeah.
You might come back with some viruses.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't, okay? If you don't want to think of it in terms of spiritual shit, you don't have to. You could think of it like a computer.
Yeah, right.
Or the mafia. It's all the same shit. You got to look at the themes. Those are like the Legos that build the programming. And you'll just see them repeat over and over again. And something's going on. I don't know what, but there's something way above everybody's pay grade where they're having a little battle over something. And there's too many greedy motherfuckers. And keep in mind, these are people that believe in that's where the lizard shit is coming from too, is like this dinosaur evolution, like hyper eugenics.
Dude,
you shouldn't live if you're not fit to live. Nazi shit.
Listen, this is so I think the only and especially when you break it down in this sort of shotgun blast of all these various things, and you're doing a good job connecting them. The answer, if you really want to push back against the demiurge, the whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's them.
The way to push back is actually the antithesis of what you're taught from the moment you can walk. It's not to fight.
Well, I was taught. Now, here's the thing. To give credit to Jehovah's Witnesses, I was taught that. I was taught, do not join the military. There's no war that's okay with God. God, don't salute the flag. I never saluted a flag in my life.
Idolatry.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
What do you think they used to, it was a Sig Heil when the first flag salute was the
No
Bellamy
way.
Yes, the Bellamy salute. Well, you tilt your hand up a little more.
Hitler fucked up so many things because it's
he fucked up the Sig Heil for what it means
the mustache.
Is the powers that were really in control. Hitler is just like a gain of function thing that got out of hand. Okay.
Yeah.
He ain't the main. They put it like the main guy, but really the bad guy is Kevin Feige of Marvel, not Thanos. Do you understand?
Right.
It's still. You got to think of the parent corporation. And parent corporation is all that shit was invented here in America. In fact, in the 1800s, when all these religions came out, and the founder of Jehovah's Witnesses was a Freemason. I've looked into all kinds of shit that said they were doing Enochian magic at the Watchtower site. Maybe they were. I've never seen anything like that. And I got my problems with them 100%. I would never join it again. But one thing I did get from it is how Christianity is supposed to work regarding forgiveness and turning the things that you would be told is to make you weak as a trick so you don't rise up against your leaders. There's so much bullshit surrounding it, but the bottom line is, psychologically speaking, how would you ever be able to forgive someone for the horrible things they do? Well, one guy who didn't do nothing wrong ever, right? This bill everybody feels in their gut of like hey, Dad, we were slaves, or you took away my slave. Like the anger. That gets like a bill's being passed down. And no one's paying this bill, like the national debt.
That's
right?
so crazy.
I don't know if we could have a national debt Jesus, but it's something like that. So a guy that doesn't know shit is like, I'll handle it, guys. You could do something bad to me. And then because I didn't do nothing wrong, okay, which is a real crime. I mean, that's a horrible crime to take a guy who did nothing wrong and treat him like he was the lowest piece of, this is the story, right?
Yeah.
Like he's lower than shit.
Yeah.
And because I did that, now you can forgive each other for what you did, because pretty bad what happened to me, and I didn't have it coming. So now when you're mad about the unfair shit that happened, you could think of my story and go, oh, you know what? A guy paid this bill. So now I don't have to surround my life like the Northman movie about revenge.
Right.
He doesn't leave with the girl. He's got to get revenge on his uncle.
Right.
Like, right? I don't have to be in the revenge cycle for fucking ever.
Right.
Which is what everybody and everything is
the
pushing. The
revenge cycle.
Everything's pushed into that. And then meanwhile, you are a piece of shit as you're enacting your revenge, damaging God knows who. And that's They put that's in the plane of cause. This is in magic shit that I've found. There's a plane of cause and the plane of effect. Plane of cause is probably where the subconscious, internet, and all that. So that's why it's both psychological, and if you get enough consciousnesses together, focusing, it becomes reality.
Okay, so this is amazing for a couple of different reasons. One, it's a synchronicity. You're talking about, the destruction, essentially the destructions of the symbolic pyramids. And I have to say this, I'm sorry to do this.
Yeah.
Guys, we are at 107,000 subscribers. I've been saying, we're doing a thing called Operation Beast Blast. I'm going to get more subscribers than Mr. Beast. And my plan is to take the capstone
Have you tried trafficking children like Mr. B? The white Oprah? He doesn't traffic kids. Come on. I have fun with Mr. Beast. We're just making a joke. He doesn't do that.
Here's my plan. My plan
He does have some questionable people around kids, and he starves the contestants.
Here's what's
That's the thing that we
crazy right now about what you're saying, though, is like for a while I've been telling people, and I do intend to do this, if I can get as many subscribers as him, I'm going to take the capstone off the Great Pyramid of Giza, hollow it out.
Missing already.
I know. I mean, I'm going to hollow it out. Whatever the fucking top part is, okay? And then I'm going to fill it with Diet Coke and drop Mentos in there. I'm going to blow up the Great Pyramid of Giza.
I think that is the biblical manna. No.
You got it.
I think it was what manna was in the scripture.
And
it was,
God has
Mentos
called
and
me to do this. And now you guys see it's a symbol. I didn't just want to blow up the fucking pyramids. I want to take down the power structure.
You see how timeless pyramids are, like this architecture? And I was doing a show in Seattle, but some guy said something really funny because I was trying to make a flat earth joke, and I was asking about like what conspiracy. I said something about conspiracy, and the guy said, he blurted out this conspiracy that they were controlled by interdimensional trillionaires. And I'm like, no, sir. I said for a conspiracy, not reality, not literal reality.
I know.
Interdimensional trillionaires.
That's so
great band
cool.
name because it's how the world works.
Yeah.
So look at these people that are really high up, how detached they are from your earthly life.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
They live in another fucking
realm.
Oh, are there extra dimensional non-human intelligences out there that we can't see? Yes, they're called the homeless. They're all around you.
Right.
Sometimes we have encounters with them. They say there's a smell.
This actually...
The homeless, you don't see them, right?
Yeah, they're invisible to people. People invisibilize. They walk around, they won't even look at them.
This is fine.
Yeah, this is fine. Just ignore it.
I used to say that, okay? But it's like now at this point to go, this is fine. You're firmly in the control of the thing, and it's a combination. It's not any one thing, but the blue light from all the screens. I cannot sleep without TV. I need the wine of the TV.
Yeah,
I'm sure if I didn't have it, I would get used to it.
Puts you down.
It's just I can't. In a hotel, I'd be alone. I had to have noise.
Yeah, I just started noticing I sleep better if I leave the fucking news on than if I turn it off.
I lived in New York for 20 years, and it's like being used to sleeping in a prison where you're like, now it's too still.
Oh, you got the New York. Oh, right. Yeah, it is so
New York's a
fucking
big
loud
prison.
there.
It's a big prison that institutionalizes people and they can't leave. And if you watch My Dinner with Andre, which I never have, there's a clip that floats around where the guy describes it perfectly. So it's nothing new. All this shit's not new. In fact, when I think about it, they've probably been running the same cycle over and over again, really. And when you think about dates, like I have no idea what fucking year it is. I know there's like 3 different stories about it.
I love that. Thinking about that. There's just like an
So we
arbitrary
count
number.
downwards to 0 and then Jesus and then back up.
I love it.
Why? What is the purpose of that? And they're like, so think of all the
powerful.
fossils. Think of in science, like all the fossils, not any religious cuckoo. Okay, think of the science. They're going to tell you an estimate of how many years it is, but we have no idea what year we're in. Like we're already using faulty shit handed to us.
Yeah.
And then all the people that are rational or scientific materialists, and you're dipshit if you are, you're imbalanced. You're mentally unbalanced if you are purely scientific materialist. That's called not being balanced.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're just all in the earth realm. You're missing half the story.
And it's on purpose. It's to and then the thing of like the Gnostic idea that all matter is basically evil, right?
Yeah.
In the old stories in the Bible, it's not a coherent book, obviously, because so much shit's cobbled together, but it's not bad automatically. God saw that it was good what he made. And then gradually around the time when Paul takes over when David miscaviges Christianity, that's when we get the thing material life is just evil. All just matter is evil. You know, that thing like you're supposed to only, I think that's a bit extreme as well. But you notice there's always a theme of not balance. And then when it is balance, then you get this Luciferian shit that isn't balanced. It's fucking, I'm going to be insane and bipolar. Like I'm a good guy on the outside. And then secretly I do horrific things.
That's crazy.
Right. I never considered, we didn't believe in hell when I was Jehovah's Witness the way it's taught as a thing. You call it annihilationism if you really studied in a school, I guess.
Yeah.
But I never considered this idea that some egos maybe are so strong. Like, why would you be tortured forever while you're conscious? Why would God even do that? And they go, well, you choose to do that. That sounds like the mafia to me, right? Here's what I couldn't consider because of how viscerally that I'm like, that's just absolutely unfair. Or they go, well, sin against God's eternal because God's eternal. They're really bad answers. Jehovah's Witnesses didn't teach that shit. They taught you die. Like Adam ate the day you will surely die. I mean, he didn't die that day. Kind of weird. But okay, the wages of sin is death. It's not hell forever. Okay? What I never even considered, though, is what if my ego is so fucking strong that the idea of me just being annihilated is unacceptable? So I would accept living in some terrible way where my ego just goes on hungry for something that truly is hell. And it is awful, and I should just let go.
Okay, you know what you just
But I
described?
won't do it because my ego. And now that's all that's left. I don't have the spark of God no more.
Okay, so what you just described is in Buddhism described as, this is why we reincarnate. So people, one of the critiques of Buddhism, and there's a lot out there that people have, and generally their misunderstandings of it, is this invention of reincarnation as a kind of desperate attempt to deal with the death problem, which is like, it's great, you reincarnate forever so you don't die. In Buddhism, that's not good. In Buddhism, the idea is to...
It's like getting left back or something.
It's like being addicted to anything. It's just addiction. So the idea is like you have to train yourself in this human life so that when you die, there's some opportunity to not reincarnate. There's some opportunity to let go, to Jehovah's Witness out, to completely be
they
gone.
believe they're going to be resurrected in the new system of things, in like back to Garden of Eden conditions, how it's supposed to be, where we weren't supposed to die. I'm telling you the teaching of it. I mean, he was supposed to not die.
You know what'd be really funny is if because of this podcast I become a Jehovah's Witness. It sounds great.
Look.
It sounds
here's the bottom
great.
line. I have the things that I feel are real, I'm going to just go with them, okay?
This episode of the DTFH has been brought to you by Factor. Oh my God, you're going to be so happy when you put that first forkful of Factor food into your flapping lips. I'm telling you, it would not lead you astray. This is not standard microwave food. In fact, I don't even know if you would call it that other than the fact you heat it up in a microwave because it's not frozen. That's the main thing. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. Lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto meals. Based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto, results will vary depending on diet and exercise. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. Bottom line, I love it. The Factor meals last in my refrigerator maybe 2 days. Everyone in my family falls upon them. Have you ever seen the clips of wild animals following the honey badger as it ravages the landscape, eating anything running away from it? That is my family with my Factor meals. I can't eat them all at once or I would. I fill up. I'm on Ozempic because I have diabetes, so I get full sooner. But if I could, I'd eat them all. If I had a refrigerator with a lock buried under the house, that's where I'd put them. Keep them away from those I love, just for me. But unfortunately, I have to share Factor. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/Duncan. 50 off and use code Duncan50 off to get 50% off your first box. plus free shipping. That's code Duncan50 off at factormeals.com/Duncan50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thank you, Factor.
All I care about is the truth, number one. I don't care about the institution. And once the institution fucks up to protect the institution, I'm gone. Because you told me you're not like the others. You said you don't do that. Well, they do that. They did that with, now finally Catholics have outdone us. Jehovah's Witnesses, not the Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses used to have the biggest settlement for child abuse in a church in American history.
I didn't know that. That's so fucked up.
Not the Catholic Church. Just recently, the thing Kamala blocked for years, the Archdiocese of LA, it's like a huge amount of money they had to pay out, but it's like $800 million or something crazy. But why? It wasn't some clergy or something. It wasn't like an elder. They're not really clergy, but it wasn't like a person of authority. Some guy just studying the Bible, Jehovah's Witnesses did it. But when we found out about it, what did they do? They kept it. They didn't go to the cops. They didn't report it. They handled it in-house like a college.
Jesus.
Because what about the reputation of the organization? Well, now you've ruined it for me, with me.
Right.
Now I know, and no, I don't want to hear you're going to do better now because I know what they did in court to try to not make restitution for what they did. Some guy smuggled it out of the headquarters on a chip, all the records of this.
Fucking hero.
And you know the amount we used to trash Catholics as pagans, like many other kind of denominations would do?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, but we have the highest settlement against us?
Right.
Look, the bottom line is whatever group that you trust, do not trust. How do you miss this point of Jesus if you say you're a Christian? The institution, if you're trusting the institution, you're a moron.
That's what Jesus would say.
Okay? So there's not an authority of, it's just so stupid, but people want to cling to that.
People want to cling to the institution. You know, okay, we are running out of time. I want to end this on a positive note. Can you pull up for me, Josh, Jeremy Savelle's eyeball ring?
Oh,
I just want to know
has that. Really? He's got that for real?
Yeah, and I want to know if you can help me explain what the fuck these eyeballs represent.
How do you have them on his fingers? Did he have them on like every other finger?
He would go and get them out of fucking cadavers.
Wait, you mean that's a real eye?
That's a glass eye, and he would get them out of fucking. Now look that.
Oh, so you see? Okay, you see how the rings are every other finger like that?
No, look up Seville. I think it's what's his name? It's
Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy, I said Jeremy. Jimmy Savile eyeball ring, because you know Jeffrey Epstein had a wall of glass eyeballs.
On my girl's podcast, the Bad Art Show, we had his art collection. And
you saw the eyeball wall.
Yeah, we showed. He had like a cool like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the fuck? Why do these pedophiles? Why are they into glass eyes? Why did Epstein have a wall of glass eyeballs?
Because it's not because they're a pedophile. That's magic. That's a cult.
So what?
Now you see how his fingers are set. So there's a guy that you can look up on a bunch of channels. You might have seen him. He's the guy from the American Templar Knights Association that is authorized to talk about the Templar Knights now. Have you seen him? Got real bags under his eyes.
No.
Oh, look him up. He'll tell you all about the Templars. And some of the information I'm sure is good. But there's lots of parts left out. But if you look at his rings while he's talking, and I asked, because my girl used to know, she used to do chaos magic. Yeah, I know. It's gross.
Chaos magic is great. Mitch Horowitz is cool, but I don't understand these fucking rings, man.
You're like Sammy Davis Jr., who don't know no better than one day he realized and he didn't go back. You see Eddie Murphy talking about meeting Sammy? He goes, Satan's as powerful as God, man. That's why there's so much hate in the world. Dude, Eddie Murphy's on riding in cars with... I don't remember the name of it.
Take a note of that, please. I've got a family. I'm trying to build my YouTube channel here.
So wait, watch Eddie Murphy laughing about it, about hanging out with Sammy Davis, and he sang this, and then Sammy Davis saw how he reacted, where he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he stopped finally. And they're laughing in the car about it. Okay? Him and Seinfeld are laughing in the car. Like, oh, that kooky fuck is Sammy Davis. But Sammy's got... we never played the Geraldo thing.
Oh, yeah. Play the fucking Geraldo thing of this guy. This is a good way to close out very, by the way.
Remember the Satanic Panic where everybody panicked.
If you're talking about Satanism as legitimate Satanists define.
Okay, so he's from the Temple of Set. So he left the Church of Satan because it wasn't spiritual enough.
Right.
Because he made contact with Set while he was in a
Well,
ritual.
he's a dork. I mean, look, this is a dork.
That's a colonel. in the
Whatever,
US.
he's still a dork.
He worked for the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
Still a dork.
Well,
Look at his. Look what is he fucking. Where does he get his haircut? It's like that kid from the Addams Family. I mean, that's the look he's going for.
So Eddie Munster here, I don't know if you know, was smeared by the Satanic Panic. He's just an upstanding American serviceman that looks like Eddie Munster, and they smeared the good name of the Temple of Set, that they do things to children. Hey, if churches that are, God churches, if they do that, do you expect me to believe the people that worship Satan don't do that? That's what they expect you to believe.
Will you hit play on this again? I want to.
So they always go, it's the Christians that do that. But do you think it's wrong to do that, or are you just saying that they do it too? They're just saying they do it too. This motherfucker, okay, he's in he figures into almost every whistleblower.
Things.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he worked for the United States military. He invented the PSYOP, later Mind War. We're way beyond Mind War now. You can see Oliver Stone's kid, what's his name? Did one of the last interviews with him. He was found, the official thing is he shot himself in the head during COVID.
No, he did not.
Yeah. When I told, I can't remember. I like the guy, I forget his name, Oliver Stone's son that does a bunch of things.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He does podcasts and stuff, right?
He interviewed this guy. This guy, now, let me tell you a creepy-ass story that happened. So I was looking at the 20 and Back space program.
I love that shit, dude.
Well, dude, did you know Edgar Casey, the psychic guy that...
Wait, explain 20 and Back real quick. Again, a lot of people don't, people might not know what that is.
Well,
20
the
and
first
Back
guy
is
to
so
start
good.
bringing it up was some, full of shit guy with, his blue avian bullshit.
Yeah.
But the way I heard about it while looking up alien shit, I would say look up this guy, Daryl James.
Okay.
Daryl James, because... his story really, and he may be making it up, I don't know, but his had such bizarre things I hadn't heard before that it just stuck in my memory, okay? So that pulled me into learning about how the mind control, whatever aliens or any of this shit is, until we address MK Monarch, okay, which you're seeing it poke out its head over and over again. That figures into this heavily. So all the people talking about UFOs and the intel community and who knows about the aliens, they never bring up they never bring up this fucker. But guess what? This guy did.
What?
Because he supposedly served with he said Michael Aquino. I'm like, why do we know that? I hadn't thought about it in many years. And he said this dude's like a shell. Like they prepped him young to absorb some, like when he takes his form, which in some esoteric things you would say is an etheric form.
Yeah.
Or you could say it's an alien. It's a black snakehead like Thulsa Doom from the first Conan movie. James Earl Jones turned into a snake.
Yeah.
And he said it was like an overlay over him, and it would stand in the back behind him, like in the shadow. And and when things not in him, he said one of his buddies told me to walk by, and the dude's just sitting there in front of a turned off screen, like he's not on.
He's just not on.
So these are interesting story details. Oh, then this guy served in the what's it called? The Nachtwaffen, the Germans, the off-world Germans, because they won the war. I don't know if you know that. The Nazis. This is the Fourth Reich you live in, by the way, just so you know. That's who won. The Nazis. The CIA is formed from the OSS merging, not taking a few guys, merging with Otto Skorzeny and the rest of the SS Nazi intelligence group. We brought Mengele here. He helped. He had a lot of information.
Okay, let me ask you what you think about this. This is something that scares me. I love to think about it, though. You ever considered this? So you've got MK Ultra, Project Monarch, all the mind control stuff you're talking about. Have you ever wondered if maybe you right now are in a hypnotic state in a government experiment that has given you a sense of being you? The reincarnation cycle is just designed to gradually break you down. The idea is that you right now, not me, by the way, I mean literally you, are
just me and no one else?
Yeah, you are in, because you don't know that I'm real. I could be some hallucination, or I could just be someone sitting next to you.
Did you ever read The Breakfast of Champions?
I never read it.
where the guy realizes he's a character in a Kurt Vonnegut book.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Have you ever thought about that? Like maybe you are actually in a facility?
That's the thing. I don't ponder if God is real because I don't know if I am. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what I look at God as an author, okay, it's like a combination of, this is an imperfect analogy. But
Yeah.
do you understand?
Yeah.
Like an author.
Yeah.
So dimensionally speaking, like you do a DMT and they look at this. They want attention. Whatever the
Yeah.
entities, they want your attention. Why? Because they don't fucking exist unless you're looking at them, and they know it. So people, no one's mad about when they found out the NSA spies on us. Like no one is really that mad. A few people, but nobody really. Maybe
Yeah.
make a few jokes about it, move on.
Yeah.
Why? Well, it used to be, and when people would say bad things about God, they're like, oh, there's a spy, Christopher Hitchens. It's North Korea all day. They're being spied on.
Yeah.
And I think what the point being missed here, and at the time I agreed with him, but I don't agree with him now. The way an atom isn't there till you look at it, right? There's probabilities of where it is until you look at it. And
Yeah,
then-
sure. The double slit experiment.
Okay. So that you could scale that all the way the fuck up. So people feel like they don't exist if they're not being watched.
Right.
And it used to be you thought God was watching you everywhere, but now a lot of people don't have that. So what do they have instead of that? They have technology, right?
Right.
Twitter,
Right.
Instagram.
Ugh, that's so
Okay.
fucked up.
And now we created a techno spy God where
Cyber God.
yeah, and you can lie to the other idiots on the cyber God thing. I mean, the cyber God knows what you really did, but you could you're given this power to be like, I'm having a great time in Dubai. Meanwhile, like Arabs and camels are shitting on you.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Right.
but they're like, oh, I'm glamorous and I'm in Dubai. People are catching on to it faster than ever. But these scams aren't working. You know, the invention of medicine and poisons. Humans are the medium. They're a medium for it. So it's snake venom into your body, and your body processes it, and then they take your fluids, and the medicine's made from your body reacting with the venom. That's a dialectic, right?
Right.
The Phoenicians and Medea and all that.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from. The reason they would use kids was because they don't have the hormones in them yet. But they use every part of the buffalo, these motherfuckers. They always have. So snake venom antidote now, they do it through cows. They poison the cow or something.
Yeah.
You know? But the origin of medicine, that's the snake thing, is this Phoenician practice of poisoning people and then harvesting their fluids. Sounds like adrenochrome a little bit, don't it? But it's not just, don't get hung up on something like that. They use every part of the buffalo. And so so this pharmakia, which is a kind of ancient sorcery, is based on this, okay?
Wow.
Yeah, and so the combination of using drugs and patterns, because you'll see in science, they'll be like, oh, humans are pattern recognizing creatures, and that's all it is. What do you mean all? You just told me the reality is a hologram. So that means that's all there is me seeing a pattern is breathing life into it because I got a spark of God that some discarnate entity no longer has.
The sigil magic. This is the whole basis of what sigil magic comes from.
Right.
Can you pull up the Starbucks logo, Josh?
Yeah, right.
Like, this is the idea, like, hidden in plain sight. This is why so many corporations.
So my buddy, I only talked to him once on the phone, but I like this guy Nathan Reynolds that you should watch. He's a hardcore Jesus freak now, but he was in a generational, and dude, when I say the old religion, I mean the shit, they had a patron spirit. All these, if you read like, Rudolph, I listen to it, I don't even read, but like Rudolf Steiner and like all these people, they'll talk about principalities and shit. All the lands.
Powers and principalities.
America's the land of the plumed serpent. That's what the name means. Amerigo Vespucci, he changed his name. They didn't name America after him. He named himself after this. Amaru.
Wow.
So this is like a land of that's who's the God is in charge of America. It ain't Jesus.
Plumed serpent?
Yeah, and here's an interesting idea that I hadn't heard. I don't know if it's sure. This is an unrelated Bible scholarship thing, but when I was down south, they thought snakes used to have legs because God says you'll crawl on your belly.
Yeah.
But I'm watching this guy. I can't remember the guy's name, doctor of the scholarship. He goes, no, it wasn't that the snake had legs. The snake had wings. It lost its wings.
Whoa.
Never considered that idea.
That's cool.
I don't know if that's the reality of it, but that's not all I'm looking for. I want to hear something I never fucking heard before. That's all. Because I've already been indoctrinated many times in many things, and because I'm a slacker and the other poisons or whatever give you ADHD, I love learning and I remember shit because I get excited to learn it. I hate being indoctrinated. I go right to sleep. So the boredom you're talking about, feeling in a church, that's how I know I'm being fed on. And how am I being fed on? They're using that positive feeling of your genuine, sincere spirit of wanting to do good, okay? And they're focusing your attention on something that they want you to think about as reality to make it reality. So it's just taking a bunch of computers and hooking them up to make whatever matrix you want. And that's what the boredom is the draining feeling of being indoctrinated, much the way school felt.
I don't think so. You know what I think the boredom is?
What?
You know what I think boredom is in general?
What?
Suffering. I think whenever you get in
same difference.
But when
you're
things
being fed
get,
on.
No, I think you're experiencing your like fundamental human suffering when you get in a situation where you're not being distracted by the normal array of distractions that people experience every day. You get in a quiet place, you feel bored, and that boredom is you're feeling.
Okay, I don't feel bored in a quiet place. I feel bored when I'm being indoctrinated in school or church. And it's something I already got. I don't need you to repeat it to me. I'm not trying to be hypnotized. That's what you do.
Do you meditate?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I'm afraid. Let me tell you something.
It's a good way to feel bored.
Yeah, well, it's it's the only way I guess you can learn to astral project, am I right? But the thing is, once you get out of your car, like I said, I think of these things the way I think of an internet scam. And the thing of like, hey, your body's terrible and that's suffering. You don't want that old body. Well, you learn how to fly free and now you're out of it. And now some that don't have a body that was telling you it's bad to have a body, they're going to use your body. Wait, is it good to have a body? Oh, no, it's mine now.
Like
the Dalai Lama is that's what they do a kid. Dalai Lama. They find a child. They look through his genealogy. That's DNA, right? Because the same with all this. They're looking for people that can dissociate. Dissociate is any of your bourgeois friends where they go, oh my God, he said that and I left my body. You know, like something so cringy, they left their body.
Yeah.
You ever hear that saying?
Of course.
So these are people that are trained for success when they say that. That's a psychological little indicator. You leave your body, they go somewhere to a happy place while reality happens to them. They check the fuck out.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So the people that are the best at that, that's who we pick to be our leaders because we want you to check the fuck out. And then we want to pour something else into you. Maybe it's one of these, maybe it's this bitch with the 2 fish legs. You understand? Because she controls this area or whatever. They have principalities and lines drawn up. They're all aware of them.
They call them local gods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like every area has like a local god. But the Dalai Lama, come on. The Dalai Lama is the sweetest guy ever.
It was pretty sweet how he sucked that boy's tongue.
Okay. But
I thought he was transferring his soul to the next Dalai Lama.
You know that whole tongue sucking thing is based on like.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's a weird thing he did. No, I looked into it. No, I looked into it. It don't matter because the very idea, let's say that's real. He's the spirit. They've had the same leader for 700 years.
Okay, wait, let me stop you
real
real
quick. The same leader has been body jumping.
Okay, hold on, let me stop you.
Yeah.
You have offended all religions except.
Who gives a shit?
Wait, hold on, wait. What about Taoism? What's your critique of Taoism?
It's just more Freemason bullshit.
Okay,
it's all,
Islam.
I mean, dude, I owe Islam an apology. Remember we used to laugh at them because, you drew the prophets, and now you're going to lose your mind and kill, and then you can't even say women don't have dicks in this country, right? They don't have that problem in Islam. They know which one has what hole and pole. They know
what's
that.
your critique of Islam?
What? It's this. They're all the same fucking thing.
So all religions you're sort of opposed to.
Look, here's what I'm into. Okay, I'm into the truth and whoever the actual creator is, the original creator, not whoever like Disney took over Star Wars and they suck because that's what reality. I used to joke like, did God sell us to Disney because he got sick of us, and now Disney's making revisions?
Okay,
but that's a metaphor for something that probably is very likely, but. The main author, there's a point to this shit. It's not nothingness. He's not. I don't think the idea that they believe in something called Ein Sof or the absolute or the thing where it's an unknown. You could never know God. He has to emanate into different.
Yeah.
Which I understand that idea of the ambassador. It's like if you're middle class, but you understand how classy people work, but also how poor people work, you could become It's almost like you're an emanation as a bridge.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I get that concept.
Yeah.
But how can I put this? What was your original question? Because I got all.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
What if you had to summarize this truth that you're talking about? You're saying
So,
like
okay, it's so simple.
okay,
Just tell the truth all the fucking time.
okay,
How about that?
love it.
Okay, so that's your whole. You don't have to kill nobody. Okay, unless like something happened, we have to. But I'm saying, just what can you do to change it? Stop being a fucking punk.
So
I just want to keep my head down and keep my job.
yeah,
I just don't want to go in America and you look down on other countries as dictatorships and you're afraid to say basic shit you
right,
think.
right. So tell the truth and forgive people. Is that part of it too? It's
Yeah.
Like so to tell the truth and
So
forgive.
why would you look? Here's a great example. Patton Oswalt, who I always liked. Okay, who I think is a really funny fucking
Very
dude.
funny comic.
He did the most shameful thing when he had to apologize for having a picture taken with his friend Dave Chappelle.
That was weird.
And he had to have a picture taken of himself writing the apology with a feather pen. He didn't have a feather pen, but it was like that.
It was weird.
Well, it's his wife, who's a ex-Hollywood teen actress from the Corey Haim and Feldman days.
Is this the new wife?
Mm-hmm.
Can you pull up Patton Oswalt apology letter?
I don't think Patton
Picture.
killed his wife or any of that dumb shit, by the
No,
way. I don't
me
believe
either.
that for 2 fucking seconds. That guy was devastated.
No, it's
And
so
he's
sad.
alone with a daughter. He loves his daughter
Fucking
very,
horrible.
very much. He loves his daughter very much. And what was explained to me by somebody who worked with him was, yeah, he's going to cave in because he wants his daughter to be able to get ahead in whatever, like if she wants to be a writer or something. So he's not, it's all about his daughter now, okay? So that's why he'd be a punk like that. It's because of his daughter. And I said, wouldn't you want, since you're already rich, wouldn't you want your daughter to see there's a level where you say, no, fuck you, authority? You don't want your daughter to know she can, especially a girl. You don't want a woman, especially a woman, with the way predatory, you're in showbiz, dude. You just said Me Too was a thing. You just got done telling me Me Too was a thing, right?
Yeah.
Except when we talk about Tim Waltz and then it turns into shut up bitch really quick, magically. Or we talk about someone we don't, Biden was Me Too. Oh, shut up bitch.
Dude,
Yeah.
you know what I think, man? I think that.
So that's the
Can you
so that's,
enlarge it, the picture? Is there a way to do that?
So that's someone who doesn't have enough self-worth, not understanding what he's supposed to demonstrate to his kids. I would want my kids to see that I don't knuckle under for bullshit, especially if I have a friend of many years, and certainly not for some nonsense gender ideology, which is one of the most
Look at that.
Yeah, so his wife probably took that. His wife probably told him he has to do that. She probably here, I'm just going to use my psychic powers to guess what's happening. His wife's spending his fucking money faster than he can make it. He doesn't want to raise a child alone with no mother. I'm sure she sucks. The very fact this picture was taken, I bet you by her.
Can you zoom in on
Go
the
ahead.
phone? How much can you zoom in? Like zoom in all the way. What's on his phone? Keep going down.
Just looks like this.
Keep going down.
It don't look like nothing.
I wonder what he's looking at. You know, but look, man.
Is that his set list and it was posted as an apology? That looks like a set list.
That's a set list. That's a
So
set
look,
list.
my girl handles my Instagram. I'll bet you his wife does his, or somebody that works for him. But
you look, I just think we have
you see the good motive of like my daughter. I want to make sure my daughter's okay.
I think we have to forgive all of these people. I think everyone
I already forgave him, dude. Don't have nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I think the only answer, and this is the thing, man. The problem right now is the absolute hate that people have gotten sucked into various
It's called the old
ideologies.
hate.
I hate it.
There is a name for it in a cult circle.
I hate the hate.
It is called the old hate, and members of the old religion brag about how they call it forth at will, the old hate, and they're going to bring out even more of it. And if you want to find a real story, so after I looked into this fucking creep from that Daryl James story, now here's a real eerie thing. Edgar Cayce, that psychic, he said humans experience reality at a delay, like live radio.
Right.
And they
right.
asked him, how long is the delay? And he said 20 years.
What the fuck?
Now,
that is so weird.
Now, the 20 and back space program
Holy shit.
is based on taking you, because so if you know about like faster than light travel, if you go with your Neil deGrasse Tyson's about why it's not possible, it's like, well, you could arrive somewhere before you left.
Right.
Yeah, you could do that. It turns out you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay? According to this story. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. And that's where I think you're getting broken up into a tripartite soul and shit and a lot of things is probably these delays in time.
It's like we're blinking in and out of time. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and if I could manipulate time that way, since I made up what the years are,
Yeah.
okay? I mean, the years we've assigned, go to China, it's the year 7,000, so you forget all the things that you're basing this pyramid on are based on nothing, like a real pyramid scheme.
Right.
They're based on a
Right.
thing whoever was in charge said, and we just kept doing it.
Right, and it became reality.
And even in you're doing your best to be scientific about it. I just want to ask all scientific people that are like, that's woo. You always hear that called woo.
Woo woo.
Motherfucker, you just told me I live in a hologram, by the way. I just want to point that out before we
Right.
talk about woo. Another thing I noticed, the people that pay for you to do your fucking smarty pants science, they believe in goofball shit like Atlantis. They don't believe what you believe. They believe in shit that the people that you look down on believe.
Right.
The rich people that control what you can say is science, which is why our diets are fucked up.
Right.
And the COVID medicine that I got 2 shots and then I got COVID.
Same.
Because the science is highly dependent on the funding. Who funds it? Well, very rich people. What do those people believe? It turns out a different thing. Do you ever think about that?
Yeah.
No, because
Right.
you're programmed not to.
And that, friends, is how we're going to wrap this up. My
Look
God.
at that guy.
Red Pill.
Oh, I'm sure he didn't molest anyone. I'm sure it was just smearing a good man.
Listen.
With Eddie Munster hair, who was never kicked out of the military. In fact, he's a great innovator. I'm sure you don't live in, look at that. Now you look like the guy from Tim from Monty Python. Some call me Tim.
I'm going to start
What
doing...
is your favorite color? You look like the guy with the rabbit that killed them in Monty Python.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's got great fangs and oh.
Well, look, man, thank you so much. This was heavy. Great episode. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm-
thanks for having me, brother. It's
God
too much
bless
shit.
you.
I'm writing a book called
Keep fighting the good fight.
I'm writing a book about these esoteric
Nah,
learnings.
you're not going to be around much longer.
I know, I got to get done.
You have to write it quick.
As the carpet, so the drapes.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait for
And
your
I'm gonna
book.
have like a hat, like a gay ass Crowley hat, and make like
You do magic.
Hermes
you're a-
Metztraginas.
He's a chaos magician. I've been around many. You just
Dude, it's
don't
called
wanna-
spelling because they're spells.
I know. I see what you are.
Dude, once you realize it's not like comic book, the things in real life. Remember the Insane Clown Posse song about magic is all around you?
Yes.
They were totally right.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. That was Kurt Metzger, everybody. Make sure you follow him on whatever social media app hasn't canceled him yet. And thank you all for listening. Also, if you get a chance to see him live, he's so fucking funny and a wonderful human being. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week. Until then, Hare Krishna.